The NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series, powered by iRacing.com, has officially begun. It's all in control of Brad Davies in that 11 machine. Green flag flies. He's damn near banged up though. Now the 93 is going to push the 4 to Brian Day all the way up the wall. 4 wide down the super stretch point in the turn. And now the 93, 39, the 30 machine goes around. Big trouble in the back. It's been the race to the win up front.
Look behind him. They're 3 and 4 wide, trying to make a push to the front as the field gains speed in turn number 1. Kenny Humphrey, if he can rip it back to the start-finish line, will win here at Daytona.
7 laps to go.
Oh,
As you love it.
here we go.
You love it. The 1 gets around. The 5 gets around. Big choke.
The road to $10,000 runs through the Irish Hills of Michigan. This is round number 9 of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series, powered by iRacing, and we are at the Michigan International Speedway, the big 2-mile oval. Tim Terry, Joe Cortez here with you. Tony Stevens is playing with Legend Cars and Bandoleros at the Charlotte Motor Speedway this evening. He cannot be with us at this beautiful Michigan International Speedway. And Joe, 2 weeks ago we went to Dover, and the Monster Mile, well, he played a little monster mash with this NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series. Comes out with Mike Conti as not only the winner of that round, but also now the leader of the championship. And we are now in the second half of this season. This is where business really begins to pick up.
Business is booming, and it is booming in a big way here, Tim. This is a race these guys cannot afford to mess with. They can't afford to drop. Plus, let's not forget that these guys are coming up close to that drop deadline. In a couple more races here, you're going to find that these guys are going to get their drop race, and that's going to create a chase-like atmosphere for these drivers. At this point, every race is critical. Every move counts. And if you do not get that critical move, if you do not get that critical stop, you could be looking at a difference between $10,000 and barely surviving into next season. Last week, it was Michael Conti that walked away with the win at the Monster Mile, but Michael Conti has never won at this track. You know who has won this track? This race last year belonged to Ray ALFALLA. ALFALLA is only 5th in the standings, 28 points behind Michael Conti. Could we see a resurgence of the 2-time champion tonight?
And we might very well. When you look at Ray ALFALLA, he has been there before, Joe. He's won this championship. He's the only driver in this series that is going for that championship. Tyler Hudson missed the last round. He was suspended earlier in the season. He is not here this evening, which, if it was a death nail in the coffin last week, Joe, it's definitely dead now. We will have a new champion, unless it's Ray ALFALLA, because Ray will be able to possibly come back and win 3. But you look at last week at Dover, he wasn't so hot. He finished back in 19th position. Michael Conti, PJ Sturgis, Chris Overland, Nick Ottinger, and Peter Bennett, your top 5, with Matt Bussa, Brian Schoenberg, Brad Mahar, Tom Lewandowski, and Michael J. Johnson, your top 10. When you look at those point standings, it is Conti on top with Nick Ottinger just behind him in second. Jake Sturgis, Chad Lawton, and then Joe, as you mentioned, Ray ALFALLA sits in position number 5. Then you got some guys that could really play spoiler if Conti and Ottinger and those guys up front were to stumble. Danny Hansen's won a race so far this season, first-time winner in this series. And you got Matt Bussa, Tom Lewandowski, Chris Overland, and Kenny Humphrey, who's missed around because of suspension, but he did start off the season with a victory. So there's some guys that could very well start to make their move. There is this first 3 quarters of the season where you can use one race as a drop race, and then the final few races, it's pretty much, you have to outrun the competition in order to take away the championship. But when you look at it, Conti, Ottinger, we've seen those guys before. We've seen these guys dominate this series. They're the guys I think you have to beat. Jake Sturgis has had some good runs. He's won a race so far this year. The Last Row Motorsports team is decent this year. Is Jake Sturgis a championship contender, do you think, Joe?
I think at this point, if you're in that top 5 group, you are definitely a championship contender. Heck, even if you're in the top 10, because you haven't had that drop race applied yet, you're still in a championship contention. Top 10, something they all have in common right now, Tim. They all have at least, or half of the top 10, I should say, have at least one win, but all of them have some sort of consistency on them, whether it be showing up week in and week out, or for the top tier guys being able to be able to finish in that top group. Take for instance Michael Conti, Nick Ottinger, and Jake Sturgis. In seven starts we've had here so far in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze series, Michael Conti and Nick Ottinger have only not finished in the top 10 twice. Jake Sturgis has only not finished in the top 10 4 times. So all three of those drivers looking at having another consistent run here tonight and hopefully being able to improve their odds at the championship. Going to be a very interesting night for racing. These drivers going to have to keep an eye on their engine temperatures as they get ready to go to racing. Overcast tonight, 81 degrees on the air temperature tonight, with air coming out of the northeast at 11 miles per hour and relative humidity of about 50%. It is going to mean these cars can run fast, but that heat is also going to wreak a little bit of havoc on those engines.
And one thing you did mention, Joe, as well, we've had 7 races this season. This is race number 9. We did have one race in there that quote-unquote got rained out, per se. Let's put it that way. But we had 7 races. We've had 6 different winners. Michael Conti was the first driver to win 2 races, and he did the second race into Victory Lane last week at Dover, 2 weeks ago at Dover. Nick Ottinger, Jake Sturgis, Kevin King, Kenny Humpy, and Danny Hansen have all won a race in this series. And as you mentioned, 3 of those sit in the top 3. And then you got Danny back in 6th. You got Kenny Humpy back in 10th. And then Kevin King has had a season that, well, is less than desired, I'm sure, by the 29 team. He runs in 17th place in the point standings. He just has not had the luck to get in to that top 10, top 5 consistently each week. And the only top 5 that Kevin King does have this year in the 29 car is that win earlier in this 2014 campaign. And looking at the standings, he's about 80 or so points behind Michael Conti coming in to this evening's racing action. So it's going to be exciting. Somebody's going to try to turn this thing around this evening. And speaking about turning it around, when you look at the grid, you see some guys that have won already this season, Joe, up in front. You look at Humpy, Ottinger, and Conti, the top 3 on the grid. Those guys are going to be tough to beat. Then you got some guys starting mid-pack. Guys like Brian Schoenberg starting 20th, Joey Brown in 22nd. Those guys are going to be something to watch as well. There's going to be a lot of comers and goers. And keep in mind, you mentioned the engine and all those cooling things and the different weather, the overcast weather that we have here. It's also 125 laps. That's going to be taxing for the 2 miles around this racetrack apiece, 250 miles in total. That's going to be a little taxing as well.
That's going to be very taxing for these drivers out here, and it's going to make for some very entertaining racing as they go 125 laps around the track. Kenny Humpy starting on the pole and Nick Ottinger on his outside. Kenny Humpy, this is going to be his last chance to show what he has at these gigantic high bank tracks in the circuit. Next week we go to Kentucky Speedway, followed by New Hampshire. Then Indianapolis is the last super speedway, if you will, that we will go to. That's all the way at the end of July, followed by the trip to the Glen, Atlanta, Darlington, Chicagoland, and we end the season October 8th at Homestead Miami Speedway. So this could be the last big dance for Kenny Humpy. And you saw what he did last time we were at a track over 2 miles in length. He won it.
Yeah, you mentioned an interesting schedule coming down to the end of this thing, and a road course in there. You're going to have tracks like Homestead Miami. We're going to have some 1.5 milers as well that suit some others' driving style compared to some other drivers in this series. It's a very diverse schedule coming down to the completion of this 2014 campaign. We are going to step away right now. When we come back, we will go racing at Michigan, 125 laps of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series powered by iRacing Grid. Coming up, don't go away.
Side Peak Antifreeze, 65 years of experience, hot and cold protection. From an independent, family-owned business that's never been afraid to give you exactly what's right for your engine and your wallet. Peak. Run true.
Round number 9 of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series, powered by iRacing, set to go green from Michigan in one pace lap. Let's bring you the starting grid for this evening's racing action. And on the pole, it's car number 58, Kenny Humpy, putting in a time of 36:08 around this 2-mile racetrack. To his outside, it's the 05 of Nick Ottinger.
The two-time winner in the Abuto Gaming Cockpits number 5, Michael Conti, will start position number 3 on his outside. The 13 of Brad Mahar, 4th.
We got Matt Bussa starting in position number 5 after a week off. Byron Daly returns to the series in the 93.
The Plan B sales driver, Brian Day, will start position number 7, and that number 4 car on the outside of him, it's the 23 Chevrolet of Brandon Hoff.
We got Chad Lawton in the Viper Technologies 26 rolling off from position number 9 as the field rolls to the outside, Justin Bolton.
The two-time champion, Ray Alfalla, will start his number 2 in position number 11. Outside of him, the 39 machine of Michael J. Johnson, 12.
Thomas Lewandowski rolls off from position number 13 to the outside. It's the baked potato, Mitchell Hunt.
Ashley Miller and Brad Davies will complete row number 8 in the 1 and 11, respectively.
Got Chris Overland starting from pit road this evening. He will not start from 17th. To his outside was Brian Blackford.
Brandon Bowie and Brian Schoenberg scheduled to start in row number 10 tonight.
Robert Hall and Joey Brown, your next row.
It'll be Rob Ackley and Alex Scribner, row number 12 in the 22 and 50.
Brandon Schmidt, Danny Hansen, 25th, 26th.
Row number 14 belongs to 37 of the Stephen Gilbert on the inside, and the outside of him, Landon Harrison, the last driver to take time in qualifying tonight.
Cody Bias and Alex Warren, 2 of the CBR drivers, starting 29th and 30th.
31-32 is PJ Sturgis on the inside, Trey Eidson on the outside.
We got Adam Gilwin starting in 33rd. The newly announced nationwide driver for JRM, Josh Perry, starts 34th.
Peter Bennett will start position number 35 in the 69. On the outside of him, the 41 of Jake Sturgis.
Our Canadian driver, Brandon Hawk, starts in 37th. And Chubb's making a start this evening. Brandon Chaburko going to start in position number 38 in the 48. That should be fun to watch. The iRacing Ford Mustang pace car about to duck off here, and the field will be in command of Kenny Humpy. It's 125 laps. Glad you could be with us on PSR TV. There's the green, and Humpy is gone. We are underway. The 5 quickly to the inside of the 05. Ottinger and Conti going to go at it. They're 3 wide behind them.
3 wide, almost 4 wide behind them around the 4. Brian Dave Craig almost makes contact, saves it, but forces the field to check it behind him. Now the 4 in a little bit of trouble early in tonight's race. He's got a lot of traffic back here trying to get around that Plan B sales Toyota. Everybody passing on the outside.
A contact, the 2 car involved, the 4 car involved in corner number 3. The caution flag will fly here, and it is the 4 of Brian Day getting heavy damage, and Ray Alfalla. You mentioned it, Joe, the chances for Alfalla are you got to get on the wheel or get up on the wheel if you're Ray Alfalla to try to take away a championship here this season. And I don't know how much damage the 2 has, but I know he was right in the middle of that.
And another driver that had just a lot of bad luck in that was the 55 of Brian Schoenberg. Number 3 just rear-ended him straight into that traffic. Brandon Schmidt just rear-ended Schoenberg, the 55 of Schoenberg, into that group, and that's all she wrote. So Schoenberg, heavy smoke coming out of his engine. Another driver just keeps getting bit by the bad luck bug all season.
And you look at that replay, and I don't know if we can get a replay for maybe the chopper. It's a great view there. The 16, the 39, the 4 are 3 wide. And it looks like the 16 and the 4 make a little bit of contact. 39 to Michael J. Johnson, innocent bystander here. He's going to get a little bit of damage into the safer barrier, but then it's the 4 and the 16. The 4 spins back into traffic. The 2 is going to tag the 11 of Brad Davies, but other than that, Ray Alfalla might not have a whole lot of damage. The 30 of Robert Hall looks tore up. Got Landon Harrison back there stopping to avoid that wreck. You got a couple of other drivers that are going to be bent up. The 55 of Brian Schoenberg takes the most damage, I believe, from this one, Joe, and you mentioned it. Heavy damage. He got into the back of the 3 pushes the 4, or the 55 into the 4, who was in the middle of the racetrack. Schoenberg and Schmidt really nowhere to go for both of those drivers, and they will probably end up in the garage area. I believe Schoenberg is probably done for the evening, and if Brandon Schmidt's not done, he's going to have to come down and get damage fixed.
Lap number 1, the caution flag comes out early, and again, and my heart just goes out to Schoenberg. The bad luck bug just keeps biting the double nickel team, and they just keep getting into all these situations that they don't plan on being in. They've given up a couple races early this season, and it's just a bad way for their season to begin and continue here in Michigan. And I think at this point, the Schoenberg group is not necessarily looking at what can we do to improve our position, what can we do to salvage this season and make sure we're back for 2015.
Yeah, you're going to try to get into the top 20 if you're a guy like Brian Schoenberg, because that is a cutoff for next season. If you're into the top 20 in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series powered by iRacing, at the end of this season, you do not have to run through the NASCAR iRacing Pro Series in the off-season of the 2014-15 winter, so to speak, Joe. So if you're Brian Schoenberg, you're going to want to get into the top 20. Right now, coming into this race, Brian Schoenberg is 25th in the point standings. He definitely did not need this evening, and he might very well have some guys in front of him that have some bad luck, but coming into this evening, he is, let's see, about 20 points or so at a 20th, and that does not include the drop. So there's some work to do if you're Brian Schoenberg, and I know Brian is one of those drivers. He's a fan favorite. He's going to come back. He's resilient, but you better believe that he's having some tough luck this season. He'll bounce back. It's just a matter of where he bounces back in this season. Lights off atop the pace car. We're going green next time by 4 laps being worked on the board.
Right there, you just saw the replay from the cockpit of the 11 machine of Brad Davies, and on board you see just how little reaction time there is when you're running in that pack. All it takes is one slip, one misstep, one miscalculation, and the next thing you know, you're right in the middle of the chaos. And that's just what happened to several of those drivers. Just didn't anticipate that they were going to be right in the middle of it, and next thing you know, that's all she wrote. Brian Day, 2 laps off. Ryan Schoenberg are officially in the garage, calling it a night. The 4 machine off track as well. So 2 drivers, maybe 3, will be calling it a night. Nope, it'll only be 2 drivers as a result of that incident. Brian Day, Brian Schoenberg, both off track. Alex Warren will be at the tail end of the field as they are doubled up and once again under control of the driver of the 58 machine, the Reese Tow Power machine of Kenny Humpy.
So we'll see what Humpy can do here on this restart. He's going to have Mike Conti to the outside. Ottinger, Byron Daly picked up a few spots on that initial start of the race. And Brad Mayhar going to restart in position number 5. Great qualifying position for the 13 this evening. Matt Bussa, Brandon Hoff, Chad Lawton, Justin Bolton, Ashley Miller, your top 10. We have a little bit of a shorter field this evening, Joe. 38 cars. I'm sure we're going to see with this Michigan International Speedway, we're going to see some drivers up front that maybe we might not be used to be seeing in this series. Pace car is in and Kenny Humpy is gone. Green flag flies, a little spin of the tires for the 5. And Mike Conti to the outside. Watch the 05 Ottinger. See if he can't get the jump like Conti did on that first start.
So far, we're seeing a handful of drivers that we're normally calling the names of up front right now. Humpy, Conti, and Nick Ottinger, your top 3. Byron Daly, the Intelligence Ford, trying to get a handle up there somewhere. And then there's Matt Bussa, Brad Mayhar, Chad Lawton, Brandon Hoff leading a line of 2 right behind him. The 36 of Justin Bolton, the 1 of Ashley Miller, 2 by 2. The 23 plays chicken with both lines going into turns 3 and 4.
Up front, it appears to be single file throughout about your top 5 positions. The 34 of Matt Bussa, the 13 of Mayhar maybe going at it for 5th. These guys fan out down the front straightaway and into corner number 1. Bolton is side by side with Brandon Hoff. He's going to pick up that spot. And then Brian Blackford behind on the 1 of Ashley Miller, the 19 and 54 going side by side. Nice little 6-7 car battle here from about 8th on back.
Make that a battle that just ended. Everyone lines up right behind the 36 machine of Justin Bolton. The Best Western car will lead that second group around, as now we've got a battle for position number 5. Matt Bussa losing the battle of Brad Mayhar. Mayhar hits the accelerator, and he's gonna get the position. Chad Lawton's gonna come around for the ride as well. So Chad Lawton now position number 6. Matt Bussa position number 7. Drops 2 positions, but Chad Lawton not happy for 1. The Viper Toyota wants to pick up another position. Score Chad Lawton now position number 5 behind the 13 of Brad, in front of the 13 of Brad Mayhar.
13 car now trying to pick up that position again. It's going to close in the 34 of Matt BUSSA. BUSSA in position number 7 as they continue to run under the stripe this time. 7 of the 125 laps completed. Up in front, it's Kenny Humpy. As we got 3 wide behind, it's the 19 of Mitchell Hunt on the inside. The 1, the 12, the 33 are going at it. And the 19 and the 1 nearly swapped a little bit, paint in 1 and 2.
The Real Lucky Chevy trying to get Real Lucky navigating turns 1 and 2, able to do so. He's going to come out ahead of the melee. Now the 33 wants to make it 3 wide. Not going to happen into turns 3 and 4. The 19 will lead them around. The 12 and 33 still doing battle. Joey Brown, the Barley Electric Machine, score him in the position. Now here comes the 54 of Brandon Bowie.
And Brandon Bowie trying to pick up a spot, and he will. Now behind him is Rob Ackley looking to pick up 1 spot as it seems like quick little passes here, Joe, since we did get the green flag. These guys are trying to pick up what they can. 33 on 22. That is for position 15. Brian Blackford trying to come back towards the front of the field, but it's a long road to hoe right now. Humpy and Conti up in front. There's about a car length or so between your top 2.
Wiggle on the 58 machine. Kevin Humpy might give away the lead. He makes contact with the outside wall. Coming to the start-finish line, it will be the 5 machine of Michael Conti. The 2-time winner looking to add to the streak. Gets around the 58. New leader up front. It is Michael Conti. Kenny Humpy now second. Nick Ottinger a little hungry. Seeing the weakness in the 58.
The 05 looking to pick up position number 2 as they go down the back straightaway. Ottinger flashes the nose of the Camry to the inside, nothing doing. Down the back straightaway into corner number 3. 3-way dance for the lead position with Conti leading Humpy and Ottinger this time by 10 laps of the 125 completed. Daly runs in 4th, and if these guys continue to battle, Joe, it will close in the number 93 car.
And it looks like battle they are doing. You saw the 5 and the 05 both drop to the apron on the front stretch now into turns 1 and 2. Conti leading this group. Humpy second, Nick Ottinger third. But those 3 drivers still have almost a half second on the 93 of Byron Daly. So Daly kind of caught in limbo right now. Doesn't want to drop back to have Chad Lawton help him. Wants to try to get the draft from the guys in front of him. But Daly love to see what he wants to do and how he wants to do it.
Got a quick replay of the 12 car, Joey Brown getting into the fence, and he's got a battle now behind him between the 1, 54, got the 33 and the 22. That is battle number 11, or for position number 11 at this point in the event. So keep a half eye on that battle back there with Joey Brown trying to get back up to the front of the field and try to take away a victory in this 2014 season. Early in this race, we are working lap number 12 of 125 as the 5, 58, and 05 continue to battle up in front. Byron Daly in 4th, just a couple of car lengths off the battle in front of him, and then it's Chad Lawton holding off Brad Mayer for position and number 6. BUSSA, Bolton, Hoff, and Hunt complete your top 10 at this point, Joe. As the top 3, they're starting to get busy, but it looks like that number 58 might be saving a little bit here, maybe letting Conti out a little bit.
Brandon Bowie might be letting the engine cool off a little bit himself. You see him go to the high line through turns 1 and 2, and he will drop 3 positions, maybe 4 positions, as now here comes the 57 machine of PJ Sturgis. The INEX machine getting the push from the 50 of Alex Scribner, so now make that 5 positions. That the 54 of Brandon Bowie lost in that transition. I've got a feeling that Brandon Bowie, his engine might have been just getting a little bit too hot out there. Remember, we talked about these temperatures messing with the drivers, and it looks like we already had a couple drivers maybe blow up as a result of just those temperatures too hot.
I see smoke, but I don't know who blew up. We're trying to get the spotters on that to figure out who may have blown up. I see a couple of cars out and back. Alex Warren's got heavy damage from that earlier wreck in the 82 car. Stephen Gilbert. They're all putting around, and Joe, they might end up being next on the list per se if some of that front end damage is going to hurt the airflow on that race car. The 05 of Ottinger is gone. He gets back here. A little bit of connection issue for the 05. The 55 of Brian Schoenberg, we're being told, blew up, I guess, a couple of laps ago, but I thought he was in the garage area already, Joe.
That was my understanding, that he was in the garage area already and was just kind of calling it a night, but apparently not. Apparently he was trying to make the most of it, and you got to give him credit for trying. He's got to do whatever he can to pick up points at this junction in the season. He can't afford to sit on his laurels and call it a bad night. He's got to go out there and do everything he can to make it work. Connie's still up front. Humpy now second. Ottinger keeps poking the nose of his ring Toyota down underneath the 58. Not going to make the pass anytime soon. I think all three of these drivers are just in conservation mode. The longer they battle it out amongst themselves, the easier they can make it when it comes to making green flag pit stops. So I've got a feeling we'll see at least one of them sometime this evening. Byron Daly still in fourth, and slowly but surely he's starting to, looks like, reel in that top three.
The 30 car of Robert Hall has called it a night. Hall pulled it into pit road, and he is apparently done for the evening, Joe. So count the number 30 of Hall back in about position number 34 at this point. Top three getting racy once again, and looks like we may have a battle for fifth beginning to brew. Keep a half eye on the 13, closing in on the 26. But I think in this three-way dance up in front, Joe, I think the 05 is probably going to make the move on the 58 before the 58 makes the move on the 5, by the way they are running right now, because Ottinger seems to be just a little bit quicker than the 58. Is he as quick as the 5 of Conti with the way the aero package is here? I don't think he is right now. I think the top three are pretty even, but I think the 05 just maybe a wee bit quicker than that number 58 car. Humpy goes up the racetrack. Ottinger goes low. Could he maybe letting him go here? No, maybe not, as they go down to corner number 1 to 5. Up the racetrack, 58 down low, and Kenny Humpy will go to the lead. I'm not sure where that came from, Joe, because the 55 just looked like he just moved over for the 58.
Again, strategy might be coming into play here. We talked about earlier how it might just be everyone's night to be a little bit more cautious because of the high temperatures, and I've got a feeling some guys are making some arrangements and decisions to keep everybody in front and around each other in order to make sure those engines don't blow up. One driver I'm keeping an eye on right now is the 12 of Joey Brown. Last time around, he lost 12 positions on the track, forced to drive back. I'm not sure if he made contact with the wall again or what happened to the 12 of Joey Brown, but right now he's tracking somewhere around position number 26. Another driver having a hard time, Brad Davies. The 11's made contact with the wall twice coming off of turn number 4. I've got a feeling that's where we're going to see a lot of problems around coming around the track tonight.
You talk about different strategies and trying to let these engines cool, Joe, but if I'm the 5, as the 05 looks down on the 58 for the lead position, if I'm the 5, the only strategy that I'm thinking of is I'm leading the points. I want to lead the most laps this evening because I want to get the 1 bonus point for leading the most laps. Those 2 that are in front of me, albeit Kenny Humpy had a setback last week or 2 weeks ago from being suspended from this series, the 05 of Nick Ottinger is his closest rival in the championship right now. And if I'm the 5 of Mike Conti, I'm wanting to get out in front. I'm wanting to lead the most laps here this evening. That's 1 point that Nick Ottinger cannot get. And we've seen this come down to a few points in the past before. So if I'm Mike Conti, strategy's nice. Maybe saving some fuel in the draft is nice. But I want to get out there and lead the most laps.
Tim, we're only on lap 21 right now. Caution out on the field for the second time tonight. And to see where exactly that came from, it looks like it's going to be somewhere on the front straight. It's going to include the 48 of Brandon Trebico. Trebico, not sure exactly what happened to him, but he ended up into the grass coming off of turn number 4. It will be the 6 machine of Trey Eidson that he makes contact with in the 48. Again, coming off turn 4, as I called a moment ago. He's going to bring out the second caution flag as the 48 just spins straight into the grass and ultimately tries not to get in the way of traffic, but he might nonetheless. The officials calling the caution in abundance of, caution, and that will be our second caution period of the night.
Yeah, the 48 got loose and the 6 tagged him. There's not really much else to say there, Joe. Trebico got loose and 6 car nowhere to go but into the back of him, and the 48 car will bring out the caution and spin in the infield and get her going again. But nevertheless, 48 and 6 were the 2 that were involved in that. And we, I believe, are probably going to see our first pit stops of the evening here on lap 22 of 125. We'll have about 100 laps to go or so when we do get this thing back to green.
Tim, the guys should be able to see 30 to 35 laps on their pit strategy as it is. So it looks like we might be only looking at, maybe a 3 pit stop night to night. We'll have to see exactly how everybody manages it. But as you mentioned a moment ago, I really think that move by the 5 was a strategy point, because we're only scoring lap 22. We still have well over 100 laps in this race left. You don't win on a lap 22, Tim, and sometimes building a little bit of goodwill between the drivers and around you goes a long way to solidifying your top spot. Kenny Humpy will lead the crew and everyone down pit road. It'll be Humpy, Nick Ottinger, Michael Connie, Byron Daly, Chad Lawton, Brad Mayar, Matt Bussa, Justin Bolton, and your entire top 10 coming down to pit road.
If I'm Nick Ottinger, I'm going to want to hit my marks here, because he was on Kenny Humpy but could not make the move to take away the advantage in front. Can Ottinger do it here on pit road? Right side tires going to go on the Camry, the Rheem Camry, the 05 team going to work. Do they take 4? I believe they are 4 tires on the number 05. And he is down and away. Is he going to beat Humpy off pit road? No, he will not. It'll be Humpy, the 05 of Ottinger, the 5 of Conti, the 36 of Bolton, and the 93 of Byron Daly. And actually, Bolton's going to gain a few spots on pit road. I'm not sure if he did anything different than the rest of the field, but I believe the 36, 4 tires, maybe a little less fuel, but the 36 does pick up a few spots on pit road. Speaking about a driver that didn't pick up any spots this evening, Brian Schoenberg. Brian, that's a tough way to go. What happened? What did you see in that wreck?
That's a really good lead in there, Tim. Well, I really didn't see a whole lot. It looked like Brian Day and Tom Lewandowski found each other in the middle of the straightaway. It really didn't even look like on my screen they touched each other, but it was still, sucky that we're crashing on the first lap of the race. But no, I thought I was going to be okay, and then Brandon Schmidt just pile drove through my car like I wasn't there. But, I will give him credit for one thing, Tim. If he was going to ruin my race, at least he learned this time to get it out of the way on the first lap instead of the final restart or second to final restart like he did at Charlotte. So, it sucks to be out of the race that early, but at least, he put me out of my misery early instead of, waiting till the end of the race.
Well, it's always good to have the rest of your night free, but I know you guys put in a ton of work into these setups to get to the racetrack. I know Danny has been running well this season. Michael Conti obviously has been running well, leading the points in this series. I know you have had some tough luck, and we talked about it a little bit earlier. Looking for that top 20 in this series, you come into this series or this race 25th in points. What do you got to do to turn this season around?
That's a really good question. I haven't found the answer to that one. The sad part is I've just been thinking about every week, am I going to make the top 20, or am I going to be racing the Pro Series, or, anything like that. So that really kind of sucks when you're used to, just being top 5, 6 in points, the last 2 or 3 years. So, bad luck was eventually bound to come, but our last couple races, Dover was good for us, but 2 out of the last 3 wasn't, bad luck. It's just the same person being a moron. I have no respect for somebody that absolutely wrecks someone, not only for 1 race, but 2 races, doesn't say a word either time. So really don't have much nice things to say about that gentleman, but he's out of the race too. But unlike him, I'm going to go enjoy a nice dinner now and watch my teammates go race now.
We see sometimes in short track racing, and we see sometimes in the big stuff as well, that, you kind of take that number, put it in your head, and if you race them sometime during the season, you might race them a little bit different. Would that be the case this time or are we going to see any bad feelings towards that driver?
Who listens to this broadcast, Tim?
Probably Shannon and Nim, so you might not want to say anything. That is the politically correct answer, Brian.
Okay, you will see absolutely nothing crazy when the 3 car is near the 55 at any time. Thanks to Main Performance PC, ProGeek Consulting, RCRL, Jeremy Lukaska, and JDR Graphics. I'll go enjoy dinner now, and you guys have a fun time, I guess, and thanks to everybody that watches. That's about it.
Before I let you go, though, I have to ask, you got
Sure.
Kentucky coming up, you got New Hampshire coming up. You like those 2 racetracks, don't you?
Oh, those are all great tracks. We'll just hope we're ahead of the 3 car completely.
That's Brian Schoenberg, driver of the number 55, and Joe, nothing short of exciting with Brian. And New Hampshire, last year, a couple of years ago, Schoenberg is always good at New Hampshire. I can't wait for the next month to see that 55, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a checkered flag out the left side window too.
It wouldn't surprise me, but then again, this season has been crazy enough where it wouldn't, no matter what happens at this juncture, I don't think there's a lot of things that would surprise me about this crazy season. Lights are off in the pace car, about a half lap left to go. Forward back to green flag racing. Let's reset it for you. Kenny Humpy back on point. Nick Ottinger will be position number 2. Michael Connie 3rd. Justin Bolton 4th. Byron Daly 5th. Chad Lawton, Brad Mayhar, Mitchell Hunt, Ashley Miller, Matt Bussa rounding out your top 10. And I believe there's also one driver that did stay out to elect to take that extra bonus point for leading a lap, and I'm not sure exactly who that was.
That would be Danny Hansen in the 32 car that stayed out, I believe, and led a lap to get that bonus point. And the trade-off to that, or the downside to that, is Danny is going to have to restart in position number 27. So we'll see how he can get through the field in the last 100 laps of this race, because we'll have 25 completed this time by. And here goes Humpy. Green flag flies, and Humpy is gone. In car number 58, Ottinger will have to settle for second, and Conti will take position number 3. Everybody in the top 5 finds a spot in line. It's side by side between 13 and 19, but that is back in position number 7.
Meanwhile, Chad Lawton holding off both the 13 and the 19 for in that position number 7. Battling between them now. Brad Mayhar continues to try to fight Mitchell Hunt. Mitchell Hunt is going to go up on the high side, and he will pass the 13. Meanwhile, Chad Lawton's got another idea of his own as he gets around the 93 of 3 wide Daly. Daly will have to back up to position number 6. Chad Lawton now in the top 5 for the first time, seeing what he can do. Justin Bolton, same thing. He's broken into position number 4.
Wow, Byron Daly did the death ball block corner number 4, and he's going to lose at least one spot to Mitchell Hunt in the 19, but that 93 is wicked looking off the corner. It's wicked looking through 1 and 2. That 93 is not a very happy race car right now, and I'm sure Byron Daly is not a very happy driver behind the wheel as the Newtelligence-driven steering wheels. Number 93 is on the high side and falling back a little bit here. He's looking at the 1 of Ashley Miller now, and that is at position number 9. So Daly, a little bit of a slide there in corner number 4 as well. That is an evil-looking race car, Joe.
Now here comes the 33 of Brian Blackford, wasting no time going down to the apron to get around the 93 of Byron Daly. I'm kind of curious what happened to the 93 car. Did they make an adjustment to the Newtelligence 4? Are the new tires starting to wear on the 93 just a little bit? It's hard to say. The only thing we can say for certain, 93 is going the wrong way, and it's about to be ejected from the top 10 as Cody Bias tried to fight his way around in turns 3 and 4.
Chad Lawton going to pick up one more spot on Justin Bolton, and Chad Lawton coming to the front of the field in position number 4. We mentioned it 2 weeks ago that Chad Lawton has been close a couple of times, Joe, to winning his first race in this series, and it's hard to believe Chad Lawton has not won a race in this series. Lawton right now in position number 4. This could be the night that he finally does it, but he's been so close so many times before. It's almost like a case of Brian Schoenberg. It's knocking on the door, he just can't seem to get there.
But again, we're only scoring lap 29. We have less than 100 laps to go. We're still at probably about another hour in this race before we determine a winner. So let's count anybody out. Let's not count any situations out. Let's just see where the race goes. There's still plenty of racing left to do on the field, and as long as you've got a clean car, you've got a chance at winning this race. Brandon Hoff now gets around the 93 of Byron Daly, and the slide of Daly continues to go. Now he's in position number 12, moving even further back.
And it looks like he's going to try to stop the bleeding on the 23 car. That would be Brandon Hoff. Hoff moves up to position number 11. Byron Daly back to position number 12. And there's a little bit of time between himself and his teammate Brandon Bowie in the 54 car as he goes underneath, does Byron Daly on Brandon Hoff for position number 11, trying to get that back. Meanwhile, up in front, Ottinger stalking the 58 car for the lead position. Ottinger looking to make that move on the top spot. We work lap number 31 of 125.
There comes the 23 back, trying to get his position back around 90. Byron Daly. Brandon Hoff now on the inside, trying to get the advantage on the 93. Side by side, they will continue to battle for position number 11 on the track. Through 3 and 4, it will be advantage Hoff, and here comes the 54, Brandon Bowie, the Gale Force Toyota, trying to make some moves out here happen.
05 to the lead position. Nick Ottinger drives by Kenny Humpy in the middle of 1 and 2. And now does Humpy come back? Crossover here. Maybe the 05 parked it pretty much off corner number 2. The 58 not going to go to the inside, down the back straightaway. And if he can hold the lead into the start-finish line, Nick Ottinger will get a bonus point and will be scored as your leader of the Michigan round of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series, powered by iRacing. And don't look now, folks, here comes Chad Lawton in this mix as well, looking to the inside of the 5. We have a 4-way battle for the lead position as Ottinger goes to the top of the board.
Ottinger shows no interest in relinquishing that lead, but he might not have a choice as Kenny Humpy now pokes his nose underneath the 05. The Reese Tow Power Machine versus the Ream Machine. Side by side, advantage Humpy off the back straightaway, turns 3 and 4. No love for the 05 of Nick Ottinger. Kenny Humpy takes away the position, and Humpy now back in position number 1. Ottinger second, Michael Connie third. Here comes Chad Lawton. He's brought a couple of friends along with him. Mitchell Hunt looking to get real lucky, and then there's Brad Mayhar, Justin Bolton rounds out the condo line of 7, looking for the lead.
Yeah, great battle up in front for the lead position. Kenny Humpy has the advantage right now, all the way back to Bolton. 26 pokes the nose to the inside of the 5. That'll be position number 3 if he can pull it off. He is there on Mike Conti, and Conti gonna fall back 1, and here comes 2, and maybe 3 is the 19 and 13 car is gonna try to look to the inside, and I don't think the 13 is going to get there on the 5. 5 gonna pull in behind number 19. The RealLucky.com baked potato number 19 car of Mitchell Hunt, as a little bit of change in the top 3. And Joe, I believe this is the first time this evening under green we've seen somebody different than 5'8", 05, and 5 in the top 3. The 26 breaking the code right now and looking for second on the inside of the 05 into 3 maybe. 05 thought about throwing a block, but it's going to be the 26 in there. 05 going to slam the door on the 19.
The 05 wiggling, though. He's unsure of the block. So is the 19. Both those drivers not exactly sure what's happening out there. The 05 knows only one thing he's got to do left. Go fast, turn left, go fast some more. Chad Lawton breaks the Illuminati code there, if you will, and he's going to be scored position number 2. Nick Ottinger's at least 3rd. Mitchell Hunt 4th. Michael Connie, your top 5. And with the abundance of drivers, with a top 7 group all hooked up together now, all battling for position, that makes this a whole lot more interesting. Before that first caution flag, there were only 3 cars battling for position. Now, you've got 7 and maybe 8 if Ashley Miller can come join the party.
Oh, Mitchell Hunt had a big wiggle off corner number 4, the 5 and 13 to the inside of the 19, and that is all it takes. Mitchell Hunt to the outside line, and he's lucky he didn't get a piece of the concrete wall in that exchange of real estate, as the 19 will only lose 1 position to the 5 of Mike Conti. But you see how much time that this second pack lost on that little exchange. 5 and 19 going down the back straightaway, snaking their way down. Is Bolton going to try to make a pass on the 13 car and pick up 1 more spot? That would be position at number 5, I do believe, or check that 6 on the 13. The 13 looks to the inside again of the number 36, and they may be side by side going into corner number 1 if the 13 feels like it. I don't think he's going to get there on the 36 car. Up in front, still top 3, still single file with the 58-26 now in 2nd, and the 05 of Ottinger in 3rd.
So for those trying to keep score at home, the 5 is in 4th, the 05 in 3rd, the 26 in 2nd, the 58 in position number 1. Too many synonyms out there to keep everything straight. Your top 4 really not budging at this point, just kind of trying to conserve things a little bit, as it looks like the 54 may now have just taken the 23 out for a ride a little bit.
And that is an exchange for position number 12, and now the 8 of Adam Gilliland is going to pick up a spot on the 23 of Brandon Hopp. There's a driver we haven't talked about all evening, Joe. That is the 8 of Adam Gilliland, started back in position 33, and that beautiful black number 8 is now up to position number 13, so he is on the move, and he might have wanted a challenge for himself this evening, Joe, as he moves up and moves quickly to the front of the field. I believe he's got about 20 spots or so and about 39 laps. So he's picking it up and laying them down and looking at Brandon Bowie for position number 12.
Looking for position number 12 and looking for it in a very, very interesting way. Meanwhile, Byron Daly's back just past Brian Blackford, the Ford number 33 Ford Fusion, to get it back in the top 10. Byron Daly is back in a big way, and now I'm starting to wonder, Tim, if the tire model was starting to affect Byron Daly a little bit. This is only, what, their 4th race on the brand new tire model? And I wonder if the cold tires just did not play well with a Byron Daly setup.
Yeah, a little moment there for Brian Blackford in that exchange as well. But you look at the 93 of Byron Daly, he's been out of the seat a little while, Joe, and you talk about a race car driver being out a little bit and not getting a whole lot of seat time. That might be affecting Byron Daly a little bit. He's had a move, he's got a new job, he's shifting a little bit in the personal life as well, so not a whole lot of time to sit in the simulated rig and go racing, so maybe that might be affecting Byron Daly just a little bit as well, as he sits in position number 10 and continues to work his way towards the front of the field. The 26 and the 05 continuing to go at it for position number 2 as the 58's got about a couple car lengths in the battle for second.
Meanwhile, Brad Mayar, the 13 machine, wastes no time getting around the 36 of Justin Bolton. So now Justin Bolton will be at the tail end of that lead draft, of that first place draft. Top 3, top 4 really have not changed. Top 5 have not changed. The only change you saw there was Brad Mayar getting into position. Now the 26 trying to look under the 58. Not going to happen through the turns. Through turns 3 and 4, no bueno. Kenny Humphrey continues to lead out there. Cody Bias, though, now in position number 8, might be getting a little bit of draft help from the number 1 of Ashley Miller. Hard to tell, though. Those 2 drivers still on a draft by themselves.
Yeah, they continue to work back there in positions number 8 and 9. Great run for Cody Bias as well in the 27. Another driver that started deep in the field, started in 29th position this evening. And a lot of those Cody Bias racing drivers started back there at the rear of the field. Joe, you had Bias, you had Alex Warren, and it didn't work out for Alex Warren very well. Trey Eidson started back there, as did Adam Gilliland. So you had some drivers that started at the rear of the field that worked their way back up. For Trey, it didn't work out very well as well. I know he had some damage when he got into Chubbs there at a corner number 4, and he sits 12 seconds off the pace in position number 31, so I guess it really didn't work well for him as well. But for guys like Adam Gilliland and Cody Bias and that team, those guys are beginning to make their way to the front of this field. 26 stalking down the 58 for the lead position as he pulls away a little bit from Ottinger and Conti, and the 19 of Mitchell Hunt, well, as much as he can pull away, I guess, Joe, in a 5-car freight train, as the 13 and 36 trying to hold on to it. They're about a second between them and the leader right now as they dive into corner number 1.
Lots of crazy racing going on around the track. Lots of guys just kind of putting in cruise control right now, trying to figure out how and when they want to make their moves, and more importantly, when they want to come down pit road. Remember when I said that these guys can get about 30 to 35 laps between pit stops, plus or minus? They should be coming up in that window in about 10 to 15 laps here, Tim. So now begins the time when you start planning around pit strategy. If it's going to go green, you want to make sure that you're in the best position to either 1, come down pit road, or number 2, you're in the best position to take advantage of the shifts in position that will take place as a result of the race on pit road.
If they do go green, Joe, you have to look at pit road entry as well. These guys are going down the back straightaway at 205, 206. They're going to try to hit 2010 or 210 going down the straightaway and into the corner. They're going to try to barrel it off onto pit road and slow down to pit road speed about 55 miles an hour. So it's easier said than done, especially when you have to come off the transition from the banking onto the flat pit road. So if we do have green flag pit stops here this evening, watch that transitional period in between the racetrack and the pit road, as it could get very hairy coming off of that one, especially in traffic, and especially if these top 7 or so continue to be bunched up tight together. The 5 of Conti having a little bit of connection issue, but it looks like it has resolved itself. It's one thing you don't really want to have in the draft. The 19 of Hunt tucked up tight. The 13 and the 36 also involved in this draft behind the number 5 of Conti. A little more of a blink at a corner number 4, and a little more blink across the front straightaway. So he'll watch that there. You see in the box the 33 and the 8. That's Blackford and Gilliland. Gilliland continues to come to the front. He's going to try to bring Brandon Bowie along with him for that.
Great battle going on right there as they continue to try to fight it out. Gilliland doing everything he can to fight off the 33 of Blackford. Brandon Bowie in the mix as well. And look who's in front of him. It's going to be Byron Daly once again getting around the number 1 of Ashley Miller. So Byron Daly moves it from 10th to 9th. And Intelligence Ford starting to have a resurgence out there. Tim, he's back. Byron Daly, he's come back from nowhere, and now he's starting to battle around. Let's take a look at what's going on by the 13 car.
13-19, and here comes the 36 down to the inside as Justin Bolton, we got a wreck in the back.
Big trouble for the 1 and the 2 of Ray ALFALLA once again back in the mix, and the 88 of Josh Berry. He's going to get involved in this incident as a result of it. It really all starts around the number 1 machine. The number 1 of Ashley Miller. Miller comes off the turn after making contact with the 8 of Adam Gilliland. Hits the wall hard coming off of turn number 2. Then collects the 88 of Josh Miller and the 2 of Ray ALFALLA. Actually, check that out. ALFALLA does not get any damage. The biggest loser, and that's the 88 of Josh Berry, who now sits on his hood. His night is done. Still green on the track.
We're still green, but we need to get an in-car replay of the 2 of Ray ALFALLA, watching that 1 car do the dance in front of him and tumble and what have you. Kenny Humpy is going to lose the lead, though, in this exchange to Chad Lawton. Lead change on this lap, and it goes to the 26. You see the replay of the 2 and the 1, and Ray had a pretty interesting view of that incident there in front of him, and well, it's I guess he's lucky not to get involved in that, Joe, but that was a pretty neat little thing. So we continue to run under the green flag. Humpy loses the lead to Chad Lawton in the number 26 car, and Lawton leads his first laps of the evening. Down the back straightaway they go. It's 58.05 and 5. We've seen this battle earlier, Joe, but now it's a battle for second and not a battle for the lead.
Let's take a look now on the onboard camera of Ray ALFALLA, and you see just how crazy it got, just how dangerous it got there for the 2-time champion as he tried to navigate that one. Hard hit for Josh Berry, but I think he's going to be okay. I think he's still kind of riding the excitement of the fact that he's going to run his first NASCAR nationwide race for JR Motorsports in Iowa, where our good friend Tony Stevens will be calling the action. So congratulations to Josh. Sorry to watch him go out of the race so early, but I think he'll be okay after tonight.
82 car of Alex Warren going to go 1 more lap down, and that'll put him 2 laps, I believe, behind the pace. And they're going to come up in the 53 car of Brandon HAUCK and put Brandon HAUCK his first lap down of the evening. 26 car, 58 and 05, going at it for the lead position. And it's still been the same 7 cars up in the front, Joe, and snaking their way around this racetrack. And mentioned pit stop should be happening fairly soon as the 53 and 19 nearly have a moment off corner number 2 as the 19 car will put the 53 1 lap in the rear.
Now here comes the 13 machine of Brandon HAUCK and the 36 Justin Bolton clearing that damaged 53 machine of Brandon HAUCK. The 13 of Mahar Justin Bolton clearing that machine, and I've got a feeling the 53 is just going to continue to be a rolling chicane throughout the field tonight. That 53 might be trouble for somebody else, but your top drivers have cleared him, and now their biggest concern is the 57 of Stephen Gilbert.
Got the onboard of Brandon HAUCK in the box. That is the 23, and that's almost 3 wide. It is 3 wide. 33 and 54 to the outside, and the 8 of Adam Gilliland looks on from behind. 54 going to pull his foot out of it and going to lose at least 2 positions. 23 and 33 nearly have a moment there in corners 3 and 4, and the 8 car going to rim ride around the 23 and take at least 1 more spot here.
The 19 almost had a moment coming off of turn number 4, allowing the 13 of Brad Mayar to get back around him. And now here comes the 36 of Justin Bolton trying to pick up another spot on Mitchell Hunt. The baked potato looking a little steamed out there, Tim, as he tries to figure out what's going wrong with his car and how they can correct it before green flag pit stops start to happen. I think these guys are starting to get off the high end of their tire window, and they're going to need some attention from their crews sooner rather than later.
Talked about the battle for the lead, and probably keep a half eye on that because it's a four-way battle for position number 1. But that battle back here for position 10 or so is getting intense as well. 5-4 to the inside of the 8. They go side by side for position number 11, and Brandon Hoff looks on as well from position number 13. There's some drivers that started at the back of the field, and they might be peaking right now because, the 23 to the inside of the 54 and the 8. We're going to go 3 wide maybe here again. 8 going to clear one of those cars. They're going to clear 2 of them down into corner number 3. That was a close call between the 54 and the 8. I mentioned Adam Gilliland getting up to about 10th place or so and not being able to make it any further. That might be because there's some cars that there's a little distance between himself and the rest of those fields in front. But now the 23 to the inside of the 8. This battle's entertaining back here.
The 37 of Stephen Gilbert, his engine is done in the Ford racing machine. His night might be done as he's pulled it down to the apron, to the safety of the apron, and now 3 wide around the 8, the 23, the 54. The 8 backs off. Battle now between the 23 and the 54. Advantage of the 54, and Brandon Bowie will pick up the position over Brandon Hoff and Adam Gilliland. And back in the window, you see exactly what I was talking about a moment ago. Stephen Gilbert is blown up. He's down on the apron. His night might be done out there. Depends if the crew can salvage that engine at all. But I've got a feeling with that front end damage, Stephen Gilbert, stick a fork in his night. He's done.
And he should be able to make it back to pit road, but the 8 car of Adam Gilliland is on pit road. So this is the start of green flag pit stops, and I believe watch up in front. I believe your leaders may be coming in this time by Chad Lawton in the 26 car, going to be the first to peel off from your lead pack. And here comes 2-6 onto pit road. He's going to bring Humpy along with him.
Chad Lawton down on pit road. Kenny Humpy hits the brakes hard. It might be a speeding penalty. Keep an eye on Kenny Humpy, Brad Mayar, Mitchell Hunt, Justin Bolton, all down to the attention of their crews. That will be the first crew to come down pit road.
See if the 26 can get clean here into his box. Looks good so far for Chad Lawton. Very clean in. 2 tires going on the Viper Technologies Camry. Is he going to take 4? Packet full of fuel here. Justin Bolton behind him doing the exact same thing. And he is down and away. Very clean looking pit stop for the 2016.
The 58 of Kenny Humpy pulls it out as well, but he's going to be the 3rd off pit road. Humpy, 4 tires, 2 full tanks of Sunoco Racing fuel. Not fast enough to beat Chad Lawton and Mitchell Hunt. Both those drivers have excellent stops. Kenny Humpy will get out 3rd. Justin Bolton now got 4th, and Cody Baez comes out 5th. Brian Blackford, Brandon Bowie came down that time as well, as more drivers now coming off pit road for their stops, including Landon Harrison, Trey Eidson, Michael J. Johnson. Ray ALFALLA came in for service just a moment ago. And a lot of guys electing right then to come down pit road. BJ Sturgis, Jake Sturgis, Brandon Trebico, all going down pit road. And now here comes Nick Ottinger and the 5 of Michael Connie.
05 and 5 coming down together. Ottinger will come down at the completion of lap number 61 and into 62 as the 50 of Scribner pulls out behind them. The 05 and the 5 will peel down into their boxes. BUSSA pulls away from his. The Rheem Camry going to take 2 right side tires, as will the Oboto Gaming Cockpit Chevrolet SS behind. 4 tires for both of those drivers. We'll see who gets off pit road first. The 05 looks quick again, very quick stop down and away, and the 05 is handily going to take the advantage from the 5 on pit road.
Great stop for the 05 of Nick Ottinger. That stop was clean and thorough all the way through. The 5 of Michael Connie. It looks like that crew just might have slipped a wrench there or something. They were just a touch slower than the 05 of Nick Ottinger coming off pit road. So the 5 Michael Connie, he might have had a little bit of trouble there coming off pit road, and that's going to cost him a lot of position, as you now see Chad Lawton, Mitchell Hunt, and Kenny Humpy get around the 5. Connie will get into line behind the 30, or in front of the 36 of Justin Bolton, so that should keep Michael Connie in your top 5.
So we'll see what the scoring says this time by very quick exchange of pit stops, and Ottinger does not lose the lead on that exchange per se. Comes down on pit road for his pit stop with the lead. Will come off of pit road with the lead. Chad Lawton, Mitchell Hunt, Kenny Humpy, and Mike Conti, your top 5. Justin Bolton in 6. So 6 of the 7 that we had before, Joe, are still with the lead pack. Ottinger, Lawton, Hunt, Humpy, Conti, and Bolton. And I don't see the 13 car in the mix. Did Brad have some sort of penalty or something on his stop? Because he's about 17 seconds behind here, battling with Michael J. Johnson and Danny Hansen for 21st.
Not sure if he had a penalty on his stop or what exactly happened to him. We'll have to go back and find out what happened to him. Though Nick Ottinger now leading that line. Chad Lawton 2nd, Mitchell on 3rd, Kenny Humpy 4th. Michael Conti regarding out your top 5, and now got a challenge for the lead. This 05, 26, side by side, 2 Toyotas up front, and it looks like the 26 of Chad Lawton, the Viper, will strike, and it's going to leave the 05 in the dust. The 05 loses not 1, not 2, not 3, but maybe 4 positions, as here comes the 5 of Michael Conti. He's going to go lose 4 positions, maybe even 5, with Justin Bolton to get around him.
So now the 05 going to fall in the line here in front of the 36. Now here's the question, Joe. We have 6 drivers in this lead pack. We have 3 drivers who have won multiple races in this series, or have won at least 1 race, I should say, in this series. And then we have 3 drivers, Chad Lawton and Mitchell Hunt, who are battling for the lead, and Justin Bolton, who's a caboose in this train for the lead position. As drivers looking for their first race win in this series, do any of those 3 pull it off this evening? And if so, who do you think it's going to be?
That's going to be a very tough call. It's going to be it's a very tough call with a lot of racing left to do. I think if anybody has the talent to do it tonight, it's going to be Michael Conti. He's riding high after 2 wins in the last 3 races we've run out here. I think he's really got the talent and the ability to do it. But then you've got Chad Lawton, who's a grizzled veteran of this series, and Mitchell Hunt right behind him, who's an excited young driver who's now going to challenge the 26 for the lead and score the baked potato up front. Steam heat coming off that 19 machine. Now Mitchell Hunt will be the leader, and he might make me eat my words tonight.
And Mitchell Hunt going to go to the top of the board this time by for the first time this evening on lap number 66. 125 laps to run here this evening, so we are on that second half of this event, and Mitchell Hunt has taken the lead position. Can he get real lucky this evening and take away his first victory of this 2014 season in his first career NASCAR or Peak Antifreeze Series powered by iRacing victory? We'll see if Mitchell Hunt can pull it off here, and he's actually pulling away a little bit from Chad Lawton in the 26, and this is the first time we've seen somebody pull away at least by a few car lengths after they've taken the lead here.
Mitchell Hunt, that time by 0.2 of a second over the 26 of Chad Lawton. That lead will be short-lived, though, as now here comes Chad Lawton about 3 car lengths behind the 19 of Mitchell Hunt. Battle brewing between the 58 and 5. The 58 keeps getting dangerously close to the wall, coming off of turn number 4 out there. So Michael Conti, I think he's just a matter of time before he strikes and gets around the Reese Tow Power Ford of Kenny Humpy. Conti looking and looking and looking. I think he's just biding his time. Something's brewing down there.
12 is looking inside the 22, and that is for position 14. And Joey Brown will pick up that spot. And that's a name, Joe, that I thought we'd hear a lot more of this evening, and we haven't. That's Joey Brown back in position at number 14. And looking at the front of the field, I don't see many Last Row Motorsports guys running near the front of the field. You got Chris Overland in the 47. He's running back in 16th place right now. Jake Sturgis is 20th. You look back to, who else we got? Peter Bennett running in the 25th place position. It's rare because this team, this Last Row Motorsports team, has been good this season. But let's call a spade a spade. They have flat not performed this evening. Joey Brown, the top of the heap, I do believe, unless PJ Sturgis is running 12. But that, I believe that might be the only driver that I see that's anywhere near the front of the field for that team.
Joey Brown started 22nd out here, so for his night, he's almost picked up 10 positions, which isn't a bad way to go. But I think we did expect more out of Joey Brown in the Last Row Motorsports, considering the mini run that they have been on of top 5 finishes. PJ Sturgis finishing top 5 just a few weeks laps to go. And Joey Brown looking at his second win as Joey Brown now gets the death wiggle coming off of turn number 4. Able to save it, but he might lose position there to the 22 of Rob Ackley. And the last time Joey Brown won, it was last season when they raced at Atlanta Motor Speedway towards the end of the season. So I think Joey Brown might be coming due here for another big one.
Yeah, he's going to have to work for it here, though, as Joey Brown runs in position number 14 and battles Rob Ackley for the spot. Great to see Rob Ackley running well in the 22 car, as he is going to try to pass the 12 for position number 14. So that's a nice little battle back there for a spot. Just in front of them, I'm seeing the 33 and the 8. That is Blackford and Gilliland. Might want to get a camera on them because Gary Mercer trucking number 8 picked up a couple of spots. I do believe Joe on pit road, and he's chasing Brian Blackford now for 9th.
Brian Blackford's had a solid top 10 run all night, but that might get into jeopardy if Adam Gilliland can figure out a way to get around him going into turns 3 and 4 now. The number 8 keeps wiggling on the back of the 33, hoping maybe he's going to try to knock the air off the tail end of that, or maybe he's just going to get the 33 to make the mistake. That could be the mistake that 33 was ripe to make. Able to recover from it, Adam Gilliland able to get back as well, and now those two will continue to run in line.
Michael Conti lost 2 spots in that exchange there. He's going to fall back to position number 6. Justin Bolton in the number 36 car, going to try to pass the 05 of Nick Ottinger, but nothing happening at this point for that position. We will have 52 laps to go this time by, and Mitchell Hunt looks pretty comfy up in front in the number 19 car. The 26 of Chad Lawton and Kenny Humpy complete your top 3. Top 6 are the battle for the top positions, and Cody Bias is the next driver in line, all by himself, 3.2 seconds in position number 7. Where's Landon Harrison running? Landon Harrison's running back in position number 28, speaking about all by himself. There is the number 89 of Landon Harrison, and Joe, usually Jordan Hightower is on top of the box, but Jordan Hightower is lost somewhere. We don't know where Jordan Hightower is. Apparently he did not make it to Michigan. So on top of the pit box is J.D. Laird, the famous painter. You see half of these cars out here this evening were painted by J.D. Laird. He painted the number 88 Diet Mountain Dew car for Dale Earnhardt Jr. a couple seasons ago. And he said that Landon says that his car is driving like a galloping walrus with its ankle broken. And I would say so. Maybe the ankle and something else broken, because it's running in position number 28 right now, and I'm sure Landon wants a little bit more out of that car. And he's actually, if you look at the webcam, he's not very happy. He's set to go 1 lap down in a few laps because he is about 6 seconds or so ahead of the leaders.
Tim, let me, how exactly does a walrus gallop?
It doesn't gallop very well with a broken ankle.
I can't imagine it gallops very well in any condition.
Yeah, I guess you're right. 5 and 05, though, are going to gallop for position number 4 as Michael Conti picks up the spot on Ottinger, and it almost went on Kenny Humpy there, too, for position number 3. The 5 car lost a couple of spots, but it didn't hurt his pride at all because he picked up those 2 positions back and now is looking at the Reese Tow Power Ford for position number 3 in front of him. Meanwhile, Chad Lawton may be pulling the trigger or flipping the switch right now as he's closing back into the 19 car.
Trying to do whatever he can to catch up to that 19 car in front of him, and now you see the 19 and 26 start to break away from the rest of the field. This is not unlikely. This is not unusual as the 19 and 26 start to break away. You saw it with the 58, the 5, and the 05 earlier in the race. Now guess what? Those are drivers back to running in that exact same order.
8 car of Adam Gilliland going to pick up a spot. The 33 of Blackford and the 54 of Bowie going at it for a position behind the 8 car now. This is 8th, 9th, and 10th for the spot check. That's 9, 10, 11. As the 33 car had nowhere to go, and he's going to have to pull the foot out of it on the 54 of Brandon Bowie. And now he works back to the rear bumper of the number 54 of Bowie for the spot. Down the back straightaway they go, and it looks like they are still going to go toe-to-toe for that position. The 33 going to try to pick it up from the 54.
Side by side, the 33, 54. Brian Blackford won't be willing to give up his top 10 position just yet. Brandon Bowie forced to back it up into position number 11, even despite the fact that 33 may have made contact with the wall coming off of turn number 4. So as that group runs, Adam Gillen still 8th, 9th, Brian Blackford 10th, and Brandon Bowie in position number 11. As we've got a lead change brewing right now, side by side. It's the 19 and the 26.
And that would be a lapper. That's the 48 of Chubb's going to go one lower lap down to the field. And our producer got excited there, and that's the wrong black car that was going forward the lead position, and actually he's falling a lap down. So tough break for Brandon Chaburko. He hasn't been in many of these races this season, and he is probably going to enjoy the rest of this race from at least behind the leaders. We have 80 laps completed this time by for the lead cars, and I know that Brandon Chaburko team, we'll talk about him since we had him excited. Is side by side now for position. The 05 going to pick one up from the 58. I want to say hello to his spotter, James Pileski. I'm sure James is watching this evening as well. And tough break for the 48 car. Is the 58 car about to lose one more to the 36 of Justin Bolton. 58 car falling back here late in the run.
Tim, is there anyone you don't know in the iRacing community? Just out of curiosity.
Well, you got to do your homework. You got to make sure that everybody knows and what goes on. But I know James Pileski is a very integral part of that number 48 team, and a super late model driver on the iRacing service, and late model and short track ace. So this is a little bit out of Pileski's wheelhouse, but I'm sure he's watching over Chaburko right now.
And this is what made you a candidate for iRacing's Man of the Year a couple years back. This exact knowledge right here.
Yeah, I don't like to toot my own horn, but speaking about tooting our own horns, it looks like Adam Gilliland is trying to toot it around the number 33, Brian Blackford. He's going to lose a spot, pick up a spot actually off Brandon Bowie. And these guys continue to go back at it, back and forth, and if they continue to do it, it's going to close in ACKLEY and Brown. So we are probably going to have a 5-car battle here very shortly for positions 9, 10, 11, and probably 12 and 13. And actually looking back there at that battle, that is 23 and 22 and not the 22 and 12. Joey Brown has actually fallen off this battle a little bit, and PJ Sturgis is on the back bumper of the 12 right now, and that is a battle for 14th and 15th amongst teammates as they come off of corner number 4.
Oh, the 8 and the 54 make contact coming off of turn number 4. Advantage Brandon Bowie, and Bowie will now jump into the top 10. Adam Gilliland will relinquish. He will be in position number 11. Meanwhile, being told Chad Lawton may have just lost 3 positions on track. We'll have to catch up and find out what happened to him out there, as you never want to lose 3 positions out on the track. Now being told he's pulling off, he might be done for the night.
The 26 and Chad Lawton got loose off corner number 4. It almost looked like, Joe, he was coming on to pit row, but I think he just got a little bit loose to the inside, and he's going to fall back to position number 6 in the string. And the 5 now of Mike Conti is going to play chase to the 19, and the 05 is going to be there as well. These guys closing in on the 19. Do they pull the trigger down the back straightaway to try to take the advantage from the real lucky number 19? 5 to the inside of the 19 as they go side by side. 84 laps completed at the stripe in the Oboto Gaming Cockpits number 5. Your point leader trying to go back to the top of the board, and he's going to try to bring the 05 along with him. Maybe not by choice, but the 05 going to follow through.
And look at that. The guys were 1 and 2 on the points board, are now going to be 1 and 2 as a big deal in the Smiling Hills, Irish Hills of Michigan. Michael Conti first, Nick Ottinger second. It's a battle in Brooklyn for points as these two drivers do everything they can to try to solidify their stake for their stake in the claim for the championship.
So top 4 pretty close right now. Justin Bolton and Chad Lawton looking on from positions 5 and 6, but it's Conti, Ottinger, Hunt, and here comes the 89 car, Landon Harrison, to be put 1 lap down. So there goes the Galloping Walrus back a couple spots as he'll fall and be the first driver 1 lap down. And Joe, he'll hope for a caution to get the free pass because they've actually got 5 seconds or so between themselves and Peter Bennett. As you look at the 22 and I believe that's the 23 in the box. Keep a half eye on the battle though as the 05 and the 5. The 05 got close as they were lapping Harrison, just didn't really pull the trigger there.
Interesting watching the points race kind of play out in front of us here at Michigan, Tim. Michael Conti, Nick Ottinger, first and second, still running first and second on track. Chad Lawton, he is 4th in points. He was running position number 5. He will continue as Kenny Humpy now gets around the 19 of Mitchell Hunt. And Jake Sturgis, who is running third in points, he's now going to be running all the way back to position number 21. So could be a good night for Chad Lawton. Could be a better night for Michael Gagne and Nick Ottinger if they can continue this pace.
We got the 22 going around the 23 for the spot, I do believe, and then there's a battle for 7th brewing, and that is not a battle for 7th. That is the 48 of Brandon Chaburko falling back behind the 7th or the 27 of Cody Bias. We really need to keep Ian off the microphone when he's talking about lap cars, Joe.
Ian's just excited. You know, now that we don't have a third broadcast member here, he's thinking maybe there'll be something on mic time, which, you know, I can't blame him. I was that guy at one point in my career. I think about it, I still am in some ways.
I was hoping Nim would come back and join us while Tony is gone, but I guess Nim's next door in the officials booth. He looks fairly comfortable over there, so yeah, that's a pretty good place. Here comes the 26, though, with Chad Lawton to interrupt this conversation. He's going to try to pick up one spot on Mitchell Hunt. Maybe Mitchell Hunt used a little bit more than he should have up in front, or maybe he's just content to ride back here now, maybe save a little bit of gas.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. These guys are going to have to make at least one more pit stop. They can't go the rest of this race on what they've got. So now becomes conservation mode. Now it becomes, I've got to do something in order to retain where I'm at on track and maintain my spot with the rest of this group. So this is important now. Now every lap counts. Now everything you say, it counts. And it's all going to come down to pit strategy. It's who you come down with, when you come down, and then more importantly, what you take on pit road. 57 and another car back there. That's the 12 of Joey Brown. And is that the 8 of Adam Gilliland falling back? Where did Gilliland's falling like a stone? He was up in the battle for 10th, and now he's back to 15th place. I am not sure what happened to Gilliland, whether he got in the fence or whatever the case may be, but Gilliland's falling like a stone in a pond because he is back to 15th now and continuing to lose a lot of time on this battle in front of him. So not sure what happened to Adam Gilliland, but I'm sure one of his crew members, EJ O'Rourke, I'm sure is watching the 8 car. Oh, 12 car in the grass. Joey Brown. What happened to Brown? Joey Brown made contact with the wall coming off of turn number 4, which is being a very dangerous spot all night. That forced the number 12, the Marley Electric Machine, into the grass. He's able to rescue it, able to get back on the racing surface, but not before he loses position number 15 or 14 to Adam Gilliland. Remember, Adam Gilliland and Joey Brown, they were the two of the first drivers down on pit road. So Adam Gilliland, he's a little overdue for tires right this moment, and I'm sure he is feeling it in that car. The tires about gone on that Gary Mercer truck in Chevrolet. He's going to need to come down pit road if he wants to stay competitive.
There's a couple of guys starting to peel off and think about coming down to pit road, but when you look at this, Joe, can you comfortably go 35 laps and get to the end if this thing stays green?
It's going to be tough. It's going to be a very tough race, and if you want to try that strategy, best of luck to you. You're going to be watching every dial you got in that car and driving it like a teacup.
19 car of Mitchell Hunt going to peel off and come down onto pit road for what might be his final pit stop of the evening if this thing stays green to a completion. The 5 of Mike Conti, the 05 of Ottinger, the 58 of Humpy, tucked up tight together, the 26 of Chad Lawton there as well. And in that exchange, when the 19 car came to pit road, Joe, Justin Bolton lost a ton of time on the top 4.
Yes, he did. Losing that draft partner will hurt you. It's like hitting a wall of solid air when you get out of that draft, and that will, might as well just throw out the parachute, because that's what it feels like when you get out of having someone giving you a hand to pull you around. Mitchell Hunt takes 4 brand new Goodyear Eagle tires, 2 tanks of virtual Sunoco fuel down and away for the number 19 RealLucky.com Chevrolet. And now the question is, who will be next down pit road, if anybody?
Well, you're going to have to pit. You're going to have to pit, I believe, fairly soon if my math is showing here correctly. So it's a matter of who does come down pit road. 5, 05, 58, and 26. Your top 4, here comes Ottinger to the inside. Ottinger going to try to go to the lead on the 5 of Mike Conti. Conti pulls way up high. They come up on the lap car of Peter Bennett in the number 69, and it'll be Ottinger to the lead. He will not lead lap 94, but he will pace lap 95, and now who decides to come down to pit road? If you're Conti and you just lost the lead, why don't you come down?
Because you need everything you can get over Michael Conti right now. Ray ALFALLA down on pit road. He'll be joined by Chris Overland, Tom Lewandowski. It will be Brad Davies. Michael Conti now coming down the attention of his crew. He's on the handout. Next time around, you'll see him come down, and he'll be joined by the 26 of Chad Lawton.
Here they come down onto pit road, and they're not wasting any time getting at it onto pit road. 26 flashes the nose on the inside of the 5 as they drag race down pit road. The 5 of Mike Conti going to be the first to his box. I do believe 26 may have to peel off a little bit sooner, though. 26 going to stop in his box here, and the 5 going to stop in his as well. I believe both got into their box cleanly as the 5 crew goes to work. The 05 of Ottinger and the 58 of Kenny Humpy remain on the racetrack. Do they decide to come down this time by 05 of Ottinger under power 58 down on the pit road for what should be his final stop of the evening, and he nearly loses control coming down on the pit road. That was a nice little save there by the 58.
Chad Lawton, the 26 machine. The 26 machine gets out of pit road before the 5 Michael Conti. Both those drivers take 4 tires, full tank of fuel before they're down and away. Now Michael J. Johnson is going down pit road. The 58 of Kenny Humpy also going to the attention of his crew. Overshoots his stall. The 58 overshoots it. No, he'd actually check that. He doesn't. He barely keeps it in that number 1 stall. It will be at least 2 tires, making a 4-tire stop for the 58 of Kenny Humpy. The 05 of Nick Ottinger, on the other hand, he is now coming down the attention of his crew.
So here we go. Final stop for Nick Ottinger, and he has to hit his marks here. And Joe, if he hits his marks here, this could be the defining factor in possibly Ottinger picking up his 2nd win of the season and maybe knocking off a couple of points on the point lead for Mike Conti. Into his box goes the 05. He is going to hit his marks, and the crew is going to go to work flawless in so far for the Rheem Camry. Does he get 4 tires? And quickly off pit road, 4 tires going on that race car. Left side's going on. Jack is dropped. He is down and away. And the one thing I did see, Joe, coming onto pit road is he and Scribner were close, and they're all going to be close off pit road. And the 05 thought about going too wide in that little apron access road coming off of pit road, and that was almost big.
Almost big, but again, discretion being the better part of valor. The 05 did not need to get around the 50. He's a lap down, but the 50 hurt him, though. He was trapped behind that 50 machine, and now Nick Ottinger from the penthouse to the doghouse. He will go from the lead to about position number 4. The 6 of Trey Eitzen is a lap machine, so the 6 may slow him down just a little bit more. And now what was supposed to be a cruising moment for Ottinger to cruise to the win, he's going to have to use the next 27 laps to dig out of that hole.
Yeah, that was big for Nick Ottinger in the 05, and I'm sure he's not going to be happy with Alex Scribner with that, because they came off pit road about the same time, Joe, and the 50 decided to be in front of that one. He's going to lose one more here to Mitchell Hunt. Is the 19 going to go underneath the 05 for the position? Is Ottinger out of it? No, certainly not even close. But he lost a ton of time. He came into the pit stops as the leader. He comes out 5th and about a 2nd behind Chad Lawton, Kenny Humpy, and Mike Conti, your top 3. And now Mitchell Hunt and Nick Ottinger complete your top 5. And remember the first round of green flag pit stops, we had 7 and then it fell to 6. We had 6 and now it fell to 5 in the lead pack, as Justin Bolton is still in 6th, but he's about 2.1 seconds behind your top 5, and he just passed Alex Scribner, and Bolton might need some help to get back up there to the top 5.
If Chad Lawton is able to pull this off tonight, if he's able to pull off the win, this would be his first career win in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series powered by iRacing.com, but more importantly, it would be the 2nd win by a guy named Lawton. Last time we saw a Lawton win, actually, it was Josh Lawton at round 10 last year at Talladega Superspeedway. So Chad Lawton trying to keep the Lawton winning streak alive year after year and trying to win him his first race of his NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series campaign. Kenny Humpy still 2nd, Michael Conti 3rd, Mitchell Hunt 4th, and Nick Ottinger, the king, might have fallen. The king might be dead.
Yeah, we'll see if Nick Ottinger can rebound here. The 19 car of Mitchell Hunt is another driver in this top 5 that could very well win his first NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series powered by iRacing event, and he is far from out of it as well. He's got Nick Ottinger just behind him in position number 5, and Justin Bolton continues to barely each lap click off a little bit of time. If he continues to do that, Justin Bolton will be there as well, but he's got some work to do. in order to get back up to this top 5. We have 23 drivers scored in the lead lap right now, and I believe we have 31 of the 38 that started still on the racetrack and trying to pick up track position. So that's not too bad here. We've had a couple of cautions at the start of the race, and then we've been green since I do believe about lap 20-ish or so. I don't have the number written down, Joe, but it's fairly close to about lap 20-ish since we've been green flag racing, so the better part of 80 laps or so. And if this thing goes green, it'll be about 100 laps green to the end of the race. 58 of Kenny Humpy gets a little loose underneath the number 53 of Brandon Hawk, one of the lap cars, as the 5 and the 05 now passes the 19 of Mitchell Hunt, and they work to the inside of the 53. So right now it appears to be a 5-car battle for the win. If this thing stays green to the end, Chad Lawton continues to lead. He comes up at a corner number 4 and will complete 103. 22 to go.
22 to go on the field. Lawton, Humpy, Michael Conley throw a blanket over him. That's how close those piggies are looking for the win. And then there's Nick Ottinger. He's found some way to start to dig out of that hole. He got around the 19 of Mitchell Hunt. Now he's got to try to figure out how he's going to get around the 5 of Michael Conley. Conley already starting to block, trying to get halfway underneath the 58 of Kenny Humpy. So either the 5 is going to go with the 05, or he's going to make sure the 05 doesn't get around him. Either way, it looks like Michael Conley now in defense mode of his top spot in the point standings.
Does Kenny Humpy make the move on Chad Lawton, or does he wait a few laps, or does anybody else behind make the move? When does the winning move come, or does somebody wait until turn 3 on the last lap to make that pass for the victory? It's all going to come down to these remaining 20 laps, and actually Justin Bolton, that last lap by, clicked off another 2/10. So Bolton, I keep saying he might be there by the end of this race, Joe, and he might. But will he have enough after trying to reel this field in to make a move on these top 5? That's really the battle right now, because 7th is over 5 seconds behind. Byron Daly is 6 seconds behind in position number 8, and then it's Brandon Hoff. And Hoff is in the grass and spinning in the infield, and I believe he will collect it. The 23 of Brandon Hoff, that was a close call for the 23 car.
Brandon Hoff able to save it. He's back on the field. The Viper Chevrolet rescues it, but not before he loses a handful of positions out there. This has really become down to a 4-car battle. What was a 5-car battle, now a 4-car battle. We're going to watch that on the replay here in just a moment. Mitchell Hunt starting to drop off from the top 4, so now this race will be decided between 4 contenders if we stay green. Chad Lawton continues to lead. Kenny Humpy 2nd, Michael Conley 3rd, Nick Ottinger 4th, and really that 2nd, 3rd, 4th pack, they are doing everything they can to battle amongst themselves to maintain position.
We might need to put the 33 and the 8 in the box. That is the battle for position 10 and 11. They got Brandon Chaburko in the middle of this. They got Landon Harrison behind them. The 8 and the 33. This was where the 23 was running, and he spun all by himself there off corner number 4. Just in front of them is PJ Sturgis for position number 9. We talked about the 8 and the 33 going at it earlier in the race. I believe they're going to renew their vows, per se, for position number 10 as they're going at it hard. The 57 just pulls up and out of the way. I'm not sure what happened there with PJ Sturgis, but he just got out of Dodge, and he's going to let Blackford by, and he's going to be in the battle with Adam Gilliland. So maybe he just wants to have some fun here in the closing laps of this race.
Can you blame him? If you can't win, you might as well just have a great time on the field. You never know. Maybe you'll get a little TV time for the sponsors on the hood. Chad Lawton continues to lead, now scoring lap 109. 17 left to go before we decide a winner here in Michigan. Lawton in front, Humpy, Conti, Nick Ottinger, and I've got a feeling, and I could be wrong here, Tim, and please tell me if I am, but I got a feeling the 58, the 5, and the 05, they're all playing conservation right now. They're all playing a little hard to get right now, and they're going to just bide their time till about 10 to go. That's when you guys are going to see, that's when you're going to see all 3 of those guys turn it on, and that's when it's really going to be game on.
57-33 continue to go at it for position number 9 and 10, and you have to believe if one of those guys slip up, the Gary Mercer trucking number 8 of Adam Gilliland is going to be there for a spot. But I believe you're right, Joe. As those guys battle up in front for the lead position, you have to believe Chad Lawton might be burning his stuff up a little bit more compared to those guys behind him. Maybe those guys are saving a little bit. The 5 gets out of line, looks to the inside of the 58, and I believe he will get there. Yes, he will, and that was almost scary because the 5 nearly lost a little bit of control of that race car trying to get to the inside of that number 58. The 05 and the 19 going to try to follow him through, so now Humpy will have to have a little bit of work on his hands. 15 to go to get back up to the top of the board.
And Kenny Humpy may have made a little bit of wall contact in that danger zone coming off of turn number 4 out there. So it wouldn't surprise me if Kenny Humpy may have a little bit of a flat left side on that number 58 Reese Tow Power machine. But now all eyes are going to be on Chad Lawton. He's got an opportunity here to win it. Behind him, it's going to be Michael Conti, who's got an opportunity to go 3 for 4 in our past 4 races. And if he can go 3 for 4, he might just be the favorite to walk away with the first ever NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series trophy, formerly the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship.
We got the 57 and the 33 going at it for the spot, and I believe the 57 going to lose 2 here to the 33 and 8. So that'll move PJ Sturgis back to position number 11, and he'll have some work to do in these closing laps. And this is where you have to really put your money where your mouth is, per se. You've got 2 championship contenders, actually 3 championship contenders up in front of this field, and then you got Mitchell Hunt trying to play a little bit of spoiler, as will Kenny Humpy's not completely out of the championship chase at this point, Joe, not one iota, but in order for him to get up there and go for the championship hunt, he's really going to have to step it up, and he's going to have to really, get these 4 positions ahead of him and win the race. That would definitely help a little bit, but you have to believe the 3 bona fide championship contenders right now are running in the top 3 positions in this race. It's just a matter of who blinks first and who takes the win here this evening at Michigan.
Oh, absolutely it is. This is now a test of mettle for each of these drivers out here. These guys are all looking for position. They all know that this is going to be the test of their championship. And if they make it work out there, if they can figure it out, this is really going to be the defining moment that they're going to look back on and say, yep, because of Michigan, I may or may not have won the championship.
58 got into the fence again. That's Kenny Humpy, and the night continues to get a little bit worse for the 58, and I believe we may be down to 4 drivers up in front. Mitchell Hunt barely holding on to this lead draft, and it's 26-5 and 05 for the lead position, and Mitchell Hunt is barely holding on here. He's about 2/10, 3/10 or so away from this battle, and he might just be towing with them a little bit here, Joe, trying to suck back up to the top 3. Mitchell Hunt might be the wild card, per se, in this battle. We talked about Lawton, Conti, and Ottinger battling for the championship here, as you keep the 8 and the 33 in the box for the position. You have to believe, though, in this fight up front, those 3 are going for the championship. That 19 might be able to put a little butter on the baked potato and play the spoiler here.
Anything is possible. All it takes is one mistimed run. All it takes is one misstep, one flinch, and those 3 drivers will be in the wall, and Mitchell Hunt could bring the baked potato to victory lane for the first time in his career. Chad Lawton looked at the exact same thing with a number 26 Toyota. Meanwhile, the number 19 machine is way back out there. Mitchell Hunt, he needs those 3 to make a mistake. If those 3 makes a mistake, he is in prime position to walk away with the win and almost back into it, if you will.
Yeah, Mitchell Hunt lost a lot off corner number 4 2 laps ago, and he is going to lose a little bit more here. And what we talked about 2 weeks ago, Joe, and with this new tire model the last couple of weeks, is it seems to be some of these, when you run these tires for so long, then they hit a cliff, essentially, and they fall off the cliff, and the times really start dragging, and those cars become a handful to get around this racetrack. And I believe that cliff is starting to creep in for these final 10 laps of this race. It's just a matter of who can handle the race cars the best. It's been Chad Lawton these last few laps. Michael Conti looks over the 26, the 05 looks over the 5, and the 19 trying to hold on to the rest of this race for dear life. It looks like a 3.5 car battle, Joe. I don't want to count up the 19 yet because something might happen. But there's battles entertaining and battles brewing throughout this pack. And as we close in this time by, we will have 7 laps to go at Michigan.
7 laps to go as they cross the start-finish line here in just a moment. Chad Lawton looking in great position. Michael Conti looking to, if nothing else, just improve his positioning over the field. And Nick Ottinger looking to not let the 5 of Michael Conti get away. I think Nick Ottinger this season is a little personal for him, and I'll tell you why. Last season, he won the most races. He had a streak of 3 races, and he won back-to-back. Texas, Richmond, Darlington. He won at Kentucky, then he won again at Kansas and Dover. Yet still, he fell short to Tyler Hudson for that championship. So the 05 of Nick Ottinger, I've got a feeling he's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. He wants to win, and he wants to win the championship in the worst way possible. 6 to go as they cross the start-finish line.
50 car of Alex Scribner went through the grass. We remain under the green flag. Top 3 pulling away from Mitchell Hunt. This is going to be the battle for the victory. Looking back there, it looks like the 33, 57, and 8 battle has subsided just a little bit. If they continue to go at it, though, Ray ALFALLA is within a second of that battle, and he'll probably be looking for a top 10 spot at the end of this race. But let's keep our eyes fixed on this battle for the lead, because this time by we'll see 5 laps to go, and Chad Lawton will be 5 laps away from his first career win in this NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series powered by iRacing. But he's got 2 5s behind him. It's the 5 of Conti and the 05 of Nick Ottinger. If Chad Lawton wants to win this race, this will definitely put himself back in the championship talk, but it's hard to gain points when the top 2 in the standings are right behind you.
And Chad Lawton came into this race 23 points behind your leader, Mike Conti, and only about, 7 points behind Jake Sturgis? Well, guess what? Jake Sturgis is now running 18th. Chad Lawton could walk away with the win. If nothing else, Chad Lawton will easily catapult himself into position number 3, and that'll put his name in among the lead names we talk about when we talk about winning this championship. Chad Lawton looking for everything he can. He knows he's just got to hold out and continue to hold out for a couple more laps if he wants to win the race. Now they're pulling around lap traffic. First 11 of Brad Davies. Then next in front of them will be looks like the 39 of Michael J. Johnson, about to go another lap down, or 1 lap down as well.
So there goes the Michael J. Johnson number 39 machine. That'll put 21 drivers on the lead lap. Rob Ackley is next, but I don't think they're going to get to him because we're closing in on 2.5 laps to go. If Michael Conti and Nick Ottinger have anything left in the tank, Joe, this is the time to show it, because we are closing in on the finish of this event. Round at number 9 at Michigan International Speedway comes down to 2 laps, this time by the stripe. What a run into corner number 3 for Lawton. He picked up, I believe, another half car length or so in the 5.
Picked up another half car length or so, and now the 5 and the 05 continue to run second and third. This race is now really rapidly becoming a race between the 5 and the 05 for position number 2, which, if you ask either one of them, might just be the first loser out here tonight. Popsicle 6 fly in the air for that time. 2 to go. Lawton, Conti, Ottinger, these guys doing everything they can to solidify their spot and try to pick up another one. Now here comes the 5. Michael Conti saving up for this moment. No, he will be rejected by the 26. Next time around, 1 to go.
You're going to believe that Chad Lawton wants to win his first race in the series. The 05 on the 5. This could seal the win for the 26 if they go at it for position number 2. Final lap for Chad Lawton. He's got Mike Conti behind him. Conti trying to win his 3rd race of this season. Lawton trying to become a first-time winner in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series powered by iRacing. 26 looking to take away the win. The 5 trying to spoil the party. Looking down into corner number 3. This is going to be the best opportunity for Conti to make that move. The 05 of Ottinger riding along in 3rd. It's not going to happen. Chad Lawton comes up at a corner number 4, and he will win his first NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series powered by iRacing victory over the 5 of Conti and the 05 of Ottinger. Mitchell Hunt comes home in 4th. Justin Bolton in 5th. Kenny Humpy 6th. Bias, Byron Daly, Brian Blackford coming across the line in position number 9, and PJ Sturgis will come home back behind the field as Ray ALFALLA bests Adam Gilliland for 10th, and Sturgis will come home in 13th.
Chad Lawton, the big win out here. But how disappointed are you if you're Kenny Humpy right now? You were running at the top of the field. You were running at the top of the grid to start the race. You led laps out here, and then after a couple of mishaps, after making contact with the wall late in the race, you end up in 6th, just outside the top 5. That's got to be incredibly disappointing if you're Kenny Humpy. That's a heartbreaker for him, heartbreaker for a lot of guys out here, but Chad Lawton's got a lot to celebrate. Get ready. You're going to hear a lot of his name as we get ready to start winding down this season.
Jake Sturgis was the other driver that was really involved in the championship hunt coming into tonight, Joe. And it's going to be the 41 finishing back in position number 18. So not saying that we can count him out, but another run like that, and it might be back to a 3-horse race. Ray ALFALLA keeps his championship hopes very alive with a position number 10 finish this evening. As Chad Lawton parks it in victory lane, we are going to step away for just a few moments' time. We're going to set up for the post-race show here on PSR TV for the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series powered by iRacing, race number 9 from the Michigan International Speedway. Race fans, don't go away. Post-race is next.
What's inside Peak Antifreeze? 65 years of experience in hot and cold protection. From an independent, family-owned business that's never been afraid to give you exactly what's right for your engine and your wallet. Peak. Run true.
The NASCAR Peak.
This is where it gets difficult. This is where your name's on the line. Everything's on the line. You get that one chance. You go out there.
Welcome back to the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series powered by iRacing, and we have a first-time winner in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series once again. It's Chad Lawton coming home with the victory. Mike Conti finishes in second. Nick Ottinger, Mitchell Hunt, and Justin Bolton complete your top 5. It's Kenny Humpy, Cody Bias, Byron Daly, Brian Blackford, and Ray ALFALLA, your top 10, and Joe Cortez is down in victory lane. Finally, in victory lane is the 26 of Chad Lawton.
Chad Lawton, the big winner after 125 laps here in Michigan. The Irish Hills were smiling down on you. And Chad, how does it feel to finally get race number 1?
Pretty stoked. I think I screamed like a little girl when I passed the finish line. It's about time. I've been running really, really good all season, and I've had winning cars, and kind of things didn't go my way, but today worked out, I guess, for the best, and I was able to have a really good long run car. Me and Kenny and Richard and Kevin, we had something really good for Michigan. We were coming in skeptical, but looks like we had a fast car, and I was good on long run. That's what counted.
You were great on the long run. You were even better in traffic. How hard was it to run in traffic with these guys? How difficult was it to set up your passes and then ultimately complete them?
Out of 2, we seemed to have a really good car. We had a lot of bite off of 2, and that's where we were able to pick up, make some passes. It seemed like everybody ran a little bit tighter of a car so they can come off 4. Me and Kenny decided to run a little bit looser and try to have that better 1 and 2 that we've seen was helping us in practice. But just at the start of the race, I'm glad we get long runs. I seem to shine in long runs and do really good. And that first long run showed me that I had speed and I can hold my own on the long run. And then we just kept getting fill runs, my kind of racing that I enjoy, and I was able to hold off Conti and Ottinger, who I thought were saving tires, but I knew kind of from the first run that I can kind of stay up front and drive the car hard and still save tires and be kind of fast, and it looked like it worked out for me.
Definitely worked out for you. As a result of tonight's first place finish, you should be catapulted square into the top 3 in points. What's the plan now? You're now in the championship contention, and I'm sure this is a very new place for you to be. What are your thoughts? How are you going to manage it from here?
Well, I think I had the lead before Dover in the points for about 2 or 3 weeks, had a decent lead, and went into Dover and had some mechanical issues and tried to just, tough it out. And, we came here to Michigan, had a really good run, and that's really what we needed. But, I'm just you got to take these things race by race. I'm in the military, so I know I've been saying this a few years that I could not race, but, anything can happen. I got 6 more months in the military, and, I'm just taking race by race. Can't guarantee that I'm going to be able to make every single one, but obviously my goal is to get a top 5 here in the points and, be in contention for the championship with about 3 or 4 races left.
Kentucky Speedway, July 2nd. Assuming we see you in the Viper Toyota Camry on track, what's the plan?
The plan is to run good, try to build a good setup from, Rich been making some really good bases, and Kevin's been making some good changes off of Rich's bases, and we got Kenny who can, he puts the speed down to let us know if the car is good or not, and I kind of just sit there and do the long runs for him, which is, good for me because it kind of helps in the long run, or, in the races, but, overall it's just a good team effort.
Chad, win number 1. Who do you need to thank for making it all possible tonight?
Obviously need to thank Toyota and iRacing for getting this car in here. I think I got the first win for Toyota and iRacing. I want to say unless Nick, I don't think Nick's won yet. But obviously Toyota, Viper Technologies, Mason Baker Designs on the car. He paints some bad looking cars, some of the best on the net. Obviously everyone on the team, Kevin King for spotting for me, Richard Doucette, he hasn't been able to run because of work for the last 2 weeks, but he's built the bases, and he built a great setup tonight. And Kenny Humpy, Mike Skinner, list goes on, Greg McKinney, Billy Price, all those guys. I just want to thank them for supporting me and helping me through week in and week out. And you guys here at PSR TV.
Chad Lawton celebrating a number of number 1s tonight. Number 1 placement on the track, number 1 personal win, number 1 win for Toyota. Lots of firsts going on. Chad, thank you for your service and congratulations on your first place finish. We hope to see you in 2 weeks when you go racing for Kentucky. Let's go down to Tim Terry, who's caught up with our second place finisher, Michael Conti.
And Mike Conti going to lead 20 laps this evening, come home in position number 2. And Mike, talk about that battle to the end, a long green flag run, and you had the leader just in front of you. I know you were trying to find a hole there on Chad. What transpired from your cockpit in those last few laps?
It was a good race. I had quite a bit of fun for what we were dealt with tonight with the weather conditions and all that stuff, but it made it pretty interesting to say the least. But I had a really good car, thanks to J Show once again, and it just made an adjustment early on. Didn't like that one. Went back to original. That was okay. In the last pit stop, wanted to go the other way, and ended up going back to the first adjustment, which made the splitter bottom out really bad as the run went on. So I couldn't really do anything there at the end. I was just too tight. Still had the tires, but didn't have the mechanical grip with the splitter just plowing into the track. But it's a good race. Everybody did a good job beside the lap 1 melee that screwed up Brian again. I don't know when he's going to catch a break, but hopefully we can get him up here where he belongs soon, hopefully Kentucky. But yep, just a good race. Everybody did a good job, and I'm proud of the 5 team. And what we've done the last couple months, we proved that we're really strong, and I can't wait to get to Kentucky and keep this going.
And you come in with the point lead. You're likely going to leave with the point lead, seeing that you did beat Nick Ottinger again this evening. And with Chad Lawton winning, I'm sure he's going to gain a couple of points. But we're at the halfway point in the season. I know you're starting to think championship in the mind, but how big is tonight in the grand scheme of things?
Oh, it was great that we could hold the lead, stretch it a little bit over Nick Chad's going to gain 5 points or so, but that's not a big deal. I'm not really worried about that. But yeah, like you said, we're halfway through. We're in a good position. Best position I've been in my time in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series. Closest I was to this was 2012, and I think I was second to Ray at this point. So leading the points is cool. I've worked a long time to get to this point and to be at the top of the best oval sim racing series on the market right now. It's really cool, and I'm so happy to be here. But I'm trying. I mean, I can't say that I'm not thinking about the championship because I'd be lying to you if I said that. But I can't dwell on it right now. I just need to keep going race by race and take these races one at a time and go to Kentucky and then go to Indy or wherever we go after that and keep going. But we're gonna be great, and I'm so happy that I can finally put runs together that the RCRL, Mike Main Performance PC, Butto Gaming Cockpits, Speed 77 Race Chaser Online, Full Throttle Racing, a bunch of great sponsors. So I'm glad that I can get them some TV time on PSR TV and make them proud. And I think they're getting their money's worth this season, so I hope they're happy.
One last question before we let you go. Those next two races are Kentucky and the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Kentucky, you finished second. New Hampshire, you won last year. Two very good racetracks for you. Can you repeat the success that you had in 2013 in these next two races upcoming?
Oh, I don't see why not. We didn't run very well last year at all for the most part. But for whatever reason, we performed pretty darn good at Kentucky. And New Hampshire, we're 2 in a row. We're going for 3 in a row this year. That'd be awesome. It's one of my home tracks, if you want to call it that. So it's always cool to win in a place relatively close to home. But we got good cars this year. Every week, Tim, we have really, really good cars, and we can compete with the best of them. Chad and Kenny, Nick, they're going to be right with us. I think this is going to be really close to the finish. I think it's all going to come down to Watkins Glen, which is August 12th, I believe, somewhere around there. That's what's going to spread this out, I think. And I'm confident in my turning right ability, and I think if I can get out of there with the point lead, we'll be in good shape going down the home stretch because there's not a bad track for me or Jay show after Watkins Glen. So, we're going to be okay. We're halfway through, and I can't wait to get to Kentucky and try to get another win for the number 5 team.
You heard it, Joe Cortez. Circle Watkins Glen on your schedule because that is going to be big when it comes to the championship chase in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series powered by iRacing. That's Mike Conti finishing in position number 2 this evening at the Michigan International Speedway. Joe, you've caught up with another one of those championship contenders, this time finished in 3rd for Nick Ottinger.
Nick Ottinger, driver of the 05 Ream Toyota Camry. He wanted this win in a bad way, but 3rd isn't bad. Nick, how bad you want this win tonight?
I wanted to win. I was just waiting for the opportunity for Mike to make his move, and it didn't happen. Just waited too long. We all had opportunities to pass the leader a lot of the times because we get a big pull from the car in front of us, but I wanted it. But I was basically kind of points racing a little bit tonight and just finishing this race, carry our momentum and everything, and that's what it's about. Last year I didn't finish this race, and this year we did. So it's about finishing each and every race that you can, and see if we'll be on top of that points standings there.
Nick, walk us through that very last pit stop you had. You looked like you were primed to come out and get ready to defend your lead, but lap traffic had a different idea. How hard? What made you decide not to pass the 50 as aggressively, and had the 50 not been there, would we see a different outcome to this race?
Well, I would have come out ahead of the 50. We just had a really slow stop, and it had to be our last stop of the race, unfortunately. But we really had a really good pit exit, even with the 50 in front of us. It didn't really cost us no momentum at all. But what cost us was just the long pit stop. That cost us actually the lead probably. Probably would have cycled out, and a couple drivers probably would have got by me if they wanted to. Just probably been a sitting duck, but it didn't cost us. It was a good race overall. I want to congratulate Chad and Mikey and Kenny for a good race, and whoever else was around. us in the front pack there. I mean, we drove smart, and we were just riding, trying to play our different strategies and everything, and most of them worked out. So I think next race will be good. We usually run good there anyways.
Let's talk about next week. It's a 1.5 miles, which we know you love very well. It's an SMR track, which you seem to be very good at. Are we going to see Nick Ottinger pick up his second win of the season in Kentucky?
That's a strong possibility, man. We've been in contention numerous races this season, if not all of them. That we ain't had some bad luck, but I mean we've been in contention to run top 2, win. I mean, you can't really ask for much more than that. We just got to put everything together and actually go and do it. We had a chance tonight. We didn't get it done. I mean, we had a solid finish, but I think for Kentucky, we can get it done. We got it done last year, and I don't have a doubt in my mind that we can.
6 top 10s in 8 starts. The drop is coming up, Nick. How does, with you being second in points and still second in points, how does this change the way you're going to drive, if at all?
You kind of got to take it race by race, but it's not. I don't think it's going to change much as far as my consistency, what I need to do on the track, and how I need to approach it. I think I could just keep it exact same how I've been, and it's like I said earlier. It's just about finishing every race. I know you can have one bad race and this connection drop and totally be out of the championship. So I'm just looking forward to finishing each and every race and actually being that title contention for the last race for once. So that's what I'm striving to do. That's what I want to do. That's what our whole team at Gale Force wants us to do. So I'm ready to get it done.
Nick, who makes it work for you, the Gale Force team?
This week, Tom Romig helped out a ton on the setup. Ronnie Sisney, basically I went at Gale Force Racing, of course. He got Ben Welvert. Yeah, he's on vacation, so that ain't a good part. But I want to thank everyone at Gale Force Racing. Brandon Boo, he ran good tonight. He had a new addition to the team. Tom made the setup. We worked hard on the setup, but I want to thank my supporters and my friends, my sponsors, of course, and I want to thank Ream, Gale Force Suspension Management, Rude, Franklin Cable Group, SCR Airline, Cancer Research Fund, Patriot Safety Supply, and Roll Speed Dynamics. They've got some good things coming in the works in the next couple of weeks, so keep an eye on that. But I want to thank you guys for broadcasting, and congrats to Chad again on a good victory, and see if we can get it done at Kentucky.
Nick Ottinger finishing third tonight, looking for a better win in 2 weeks, for a full win in 2 weeks' time when we go to Kentucky. Tim Terry's caught up with Mitchell Hunt, finishing fourth.
Mitchell Hunt finishes in position number 4. We'll get the 19 car geared up here, and we'll get Mitchell on the horn there. There's Mitchell Hunt. Mitchell Hunt finishes in position number 4 this evening. And Mitchell, you were close to the end, but talk about the run to the finish. Looked like you fell off a little bit there coming to the checkers.
Yeah, I short pitted, well, a lap or two, whatever it was, before everyone. So just kind of burnt the right sides up just a little bit towards the end there with like 5 or 10 to go, whatever it was. And pretty much just kind of rode there until the finish.
But you led a lot of laps here this evening. The 19 car looked rejuvenated compared to what we've seen out of runs here earlier in the season. Led 18 to the 125 laps and looked pretty stout throughout the race.
We've had cars that are quick enough to run up front, just haven't had any luck. Just pretty much been wrecking out or getting into some kind of trouble. But we've had pretty good cars each and every week or every race. And I guess tonight just kind of showed what we were capable of.
Looks like you kind of turned the page there a little bit on a little bit of that luck at least. Looking forward in this season, is Kentucky or New Hampshire or Indianapolis, is there any other racetrack that you see on the schedule that really sticks out at you that says we can go and we can win our first race in this series here?
Unless we go to like Daytona or Talladega again, not really. I mean, I know we'll have top 10 cars pretty much each and every week. So we just got to be there up front and kind of, if we're there, we're there. We'll try and make something happen.
Talk about this paint scheme that's on this race car. I know it's a little bit different than what we saw at the start of the season.
Yeah, well, we showcased it at, I think, the All-Star race a few weeks ago. It was painted with JD Laird way before then, probably. And this is kind of the first official race, I guess, for DWC that we raced it in. And hopefully we'll probably throw some more crazy stuff out there next race or the next coming races, and hopefully we kind of get some good different paint schemes out there.
Well, we don't call JD Laird the crazy deer for nothing. You got some sponsors on this baked potato. Who makes it happen for you?
Yeah, we got real lucky. They've been on all season, or they're going to be on all season. So they're down in West Palm Beach, Florida. JDR Graphics. He painted the potato scheme, which is pretty good on my mind. Hopefully he can come together and throw some more stuff at us that kind of wowed and out there. So hopefully we can look forward to that.
Justin Bolton finishes in 5th. Mitchell Hunt finishes in 4th. We're going to get Justin Bolton down here. Joe Cortez, a great run for this number 36 car tonight.
Great run for the Best Western number 36. Justin, it's got to feel good to finally get your first top 5 of the season.
Yeah, really, this is the first time all season that felt like we actually had a car that I could go out there and, you know, hustle it around, and felt like we had a chance at winning the thing. But just ended up slipping out of turn 4 one time and lost the draft there for that final pit stop. Tried to gain a little bit by pitting a little bit early there, about a lap or so. And, you know, just ended up being about a second back, which was just out of the draft. And just had to ride there, try and save my stuff, see if I could do anything towards the end of the race. And unfortunately enough for Kenny, he ended up slipping up and put us in the top 5. But like I said, that was really the first time I felt like I had a car that I can go out there and, you know, race for the win. And a good qualifying run finally helped as well. We've been qualifying in the back around 20th or so, and finally got to qualify inside the top 10, and that just helped with staying in the front and being able to stay with those guys in the front 6 or so. That just ended up breaking away from the pack. So just got to thank everybody at Cody Bias Racing for helping a lot with the setup this week, and you know, I can't do it alone.
And you definitely proved that teamwork was a way to go to make this top 5 a reality for you. How difficult was it at the tail end of the laps, racing around the likes of Nick Ottinger, Mitchell Hunt, Kenny Humpy, all fighting around with you? How difficult was that, and at any time were you concerned that the top 5 may not be a top 5?
Well, really, for, you know, those last so many laps, I was just hoping to see if I could catch a sniff of them. But around the middle of the race, when we were all running real close, I think we were all just trying to save our stuff there. At least I was, just riding around at the back of the pack, just letting those guys in, and, you know, just letting our strategies play out and see what we could do towards the end of the race. But towards the middle of the race, like I said, I wasn't really trying to do anything that was going to jeopardize any of us. I don't think any of us really were pushing it too hard there, and kind of just riding in line, seeing who got the lead and seeing where we fell coming to that last stop.
Justin, coming into this race, you were 29th in points. This should give you a boost trying to get into that top 20. What's the goal for the rest of the season? Is it just to get into the top 20, or is it to maintain a little bit higher than that?
Yeah, starting out the season, we ended up with some bad finishes. Right now, our average finish is about 23rd. Just ended up getting in wrecks this first, you know, so many races of the season. But right now, I think the goal is going to be, I think the highest we can go is about 10th in points. That's going to feel like a championship to me, being the first year if we end up 10th or better, obviously. But the goal right now is just the top 20. We're 21st right now, so gained a lot of spots in the points. And like I said, really the first time we had a really good car, thanks to Cody Bias and Adam Gilliland for giving me a shot on Cody Bias Racing, and happy to give them a solid finish.
Kentucky in 2 weeks' time. What's the plan for you, Cody, and the rest of Cody Bias Racing?
For Kentucky, I haven't really had a lot of practice there. Haven't really, you know, tried to better myself at Kentucky. Really, I'm gonna have a lot of work to do myself, but I'm sure we'll come there with a good piece. As long as we can qualify well, should have a good race, and you know, we'll always have a good race set up thanks to everyone at Cody Bias Racing, like I said. But Kentucky and New Hampshire, the next 2 races, I feel like we're going to be really good at New Hampshire. Kentucky may or may not be a struggle, but we'll see when that comes.
Before I let you go, Justin, anyone else who makes it work for you? Microphone's all yours.
Got to thank Chanel and everyone at Best Western, especially for coming on board this year with the late model and this series. It definitely helps a lot, and couldn't do it without them. Also, got to thank you guys for broadcasting this and JDR Graphics for painting the car.
Justin Bolton finishing 5th tonight in the number 36 machine, sponsored by Best Western. Great run tonight, Justin. We'll look for you in 2 weeks' time when we go racing from Kentucky.
Thanks, guys.
Tim, what an incredible race we saw here tonight. 2 caution flags, 7 caution laps, and a lot of great racing, not only in the front of the field, but throughout the entire field here tonight at Michigan International Speedway. This is always a fun track, though, a very personal track to me. Having my first NASCAR experience here in the Irish Hills or surrounding Brooklyn. So this is always a lot of fun to broadcast, to be a part of, and more importantly, it really set the stage for what's going to be a memorable NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series powered by iRacing Championship. Right now at the top, your top 3 contenders finishing 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Chad Lawton, Michael Conti, Nick Ottinger. These guys are setting up for what's going to be the tightest finish in the new championship. Pete couldn't have picked a better time to come on board, because you're going to see a lot of quality racing starting from July on. The march to $10,000 is controlled by 3 men. Get ready for some great racing, Tim.
Without the drop factored in, Mike Conti has a 9-point advantage on Nick Ottinger, 18 on Chad Lawton. Jake Sturgis still involved in this championship hunt. Can't count the 41 out yet. He's got 33 points between himself and the leader, and Ray ALFALLA is 37 points back. You can't count out any of those drivers yet. There still is a long way to go in this season, and we hope you can join us in 2 weeks' time when we go racing at the Kentucky Speedway, because that is going to be another deciding factor as to who is a part of this championship hunt. And we slowly start to see the guys fall by the wayside, at least for the championship. And then you look at the top 20 to try to gain yourself entrance into this series next season. And that 20th and 21st place spot right now, dead even between Justin Bolton and Cody Bias. So business is about to pick up in these final few races, and we hope you can join us 2 weeks' time. We're going to head to the Kentucky Speedway. Last year, it was Nick Ottinger on top. So we'll see if he can defend. Mike Conti was 2nd in that race. It's going to be close heading down the stretch of this NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series powered by iRacing. Be sure to check out wcs.iracing.com, which is the official microsite of the World Championship Series. Not only this NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series, but also the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series on the roadside. 2 weeks' time, Kentucky Speedway. You can find us at the exact same place. We'll go live with the green flag at 9 p.m. Eastern. Myself and Joe Cortez will be on the card. That's pretty much going to do it for this week's racing action on PSR TV, the Motor Racing Network, NESN, all the broadcast partners that we have here for iRacing Live. So for Zach Stanko, Ian Bushing, Ilka Happala, Chuck Johnson, and Joe Cortez, my name is Tim Terry. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time when we say let's go racing from the Kentucky Speedway. Keep the hammer down, and we'll see you at the track.